He brought a cooler to my office.
Eliz told me she didn't want me to go off and leave her alone to get drinks like I normally do. So I was a genius, and I got a cooler.
Yeah, he brought a cooler. Like, we're having a picnic in here. Hope you guys are all down for that.
The only thing on the menu is White Claw. So
yeah, no sandwiches.
no Sammies, no carrot sticks.
Yep. What else is like picnic gear?
Gear?
We don't even have a gingham blanket. Anyway.
Tortilla blanket.
Tortilla towel. Yeah.
Tortilla towel.
If you guys don't know what a tortilla towel is, it's
Google it.
literally,
It's awesome.
Yeah, Google it. I had an old coworker who invented basically just exactly what it sounds.
It's a towel that looks like a tortilla.
It's a towel that looks like a tortilla, and you can like roll yourself up into a human burrito. It's really funny.
Lots of fun. All right, guys, bear with me 1 second. I'm going to pull up the stream so that if we go and get all laggy on you, we will know.
Righto. Okay.
There we go.
So we had several folks join already. Welcome everybody.
What
Happy
up?
Thursday.
Blaine.
So, Blaine, welcome. Blane's Rayleigh Creative Travel, just
Yep.
so everybody knows.
His handle changes occasionally.
And he's a live stream master of the YouTubes.
The YouTubes. He creates things like cruise-a-thons. And I believe he has a cruise-a-thon going on this weekend that he's set up for a bunch of cruise-themed travel channels. So if you are looking for a cruise or tips or tricks or whatever, go check out what they're doing.
Word. And then hello, Eric Brown. Welcome. And good evening to you. And then Thomas Reiser. Hello. Welcome. Lori Sims, beautiful evening there in California, it sounds like. We are super jealous. Although, finally today here in Illinois, we had pretty decent weather. But I'm sure California's even better. But thanks for joining, Lori. Gallivanting Gals, hey, how's it going? They put out a really great interview this week with Walter's World, Jocelyn and Mark, who hopefully will join too. And so that's really a good one to watch if anyone hasn't seen it yet. Hello, Alan A., aka Dad. Welcome. Hi, Ryan Donahue, Katie Smith. Wow, so many great people. Ronnie Dove, Mark Finley, Mohammed is on for the first time, I think.
No, he was on before.
He hasn't joined. Oh, he was on before?
Yeah, I think
I know I've seen him on Saturday on our Zoom call and everything like that.
Yeah, he joined us, I think, on Sunday after that.
Coolio. So welcome to
welcome back.
And Nick Peterson. Oh my goodness, we have such a great crew. And Darian, Germany Travel Personal Guide. This is super exciting. We've got our all of our
Megan
people
Morris.
on.
We didn't already say Megan Morris.
Megan Morris.
Welcome.
Cheers to you.
Welcome.
I have an IU koozie tonight. This might be my first night drinking out of a can for you guys, so cheers.
See, she's not that fancy. Well, she's fancy.
I don't know. I definitely.
I'm
This
pretty
isn't like my
fancy.
first time drinking out of a can. Full stop. Just on live stream.
Does anybody remember those commercials? I think it was like a Yoplait commercial, and it was the red velvet cheesecake flavored yogurt, and it was this supposed to be a older rich woman on a yacht, and she's eating. She's like, "I'm pretty rich, care." It was this great commercial, and it was "I'm very fancy."
Oh,
No.
that's how I sound apparently. I don't know. Anywho, so we're catching up on the chat. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah. So,
but
today's
Nick is
theme.
saying decent weather up in Minneapolis too, so that's really good.
Very nice. So what's today's theme?
Today's theme is talking about the prettiest places we've ever traveled to. So, not only are Derek and I going to talk about ours, but we want you guys to talk about yours.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be just a really fun way to at least even if you're not already travel planning for summer and fall and stuff like that, maybe we can all just be inspired by each other from home.
Yeah. So, for me, prettiest place
Hey,
I've ever
Bonnie.
been is wherever she is.
Oh, nailed it.
Yeah? Nailed in
We should
one?
probably just
Just
end
stop the live
live
stream
stream
now.
over. Crushed it.
We've been to a lot of places together, so.
We both sipped at the same time.
And we're over. Okay. The world explodes.
Okay, so let's actually talk about this, and then you guys start telling yours as well. But
oh, actually, before we get into it, though, we do have a bit of a thing to tell you, and it's that we traveled a little bit today.
oh yeah, well,
We did a smidge of travel today.
you guys might have seen it in our
It was
Instagram
our first
stories.
travel.
It was kind of like an unintentional travel. We did not leave the house intending for a fun experience.
We ended up going to Northwest Indiana briefly, and while we were
it did
there,
still smell. For those of you who were part of that conversation before,
there is a bouquet, an aroma
only in
that is
certain
Northwest Indiana.
only in certain parts.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the steel mills, in all honesty, that are up there. So, but that's beside the point. So we were going out there anyways, and it was like to run a real quick errand. But while we were out there, I was like, "There's a national park. Like, why don't we stop at the dunes?" And so we went and we stopped at the Indiana National Dunes, and it was pretty cool.
Which we had to... Okay, so we're going to report back to you guys about how this works. Because there's the Indiana Dunes National Park, and then there's the Indiana Dunes State Park.
Don't get them confused. If
well,
you have National Parks Pass,
But
you
don't
can't
get them
into the state park.
confused. Derek and I are still confused about it. So you follow Google's directions to Indiana Dunes National Park, and it takes you to the state park entrance. So that's fault number one. And then, so we talked to the state... There was probably like 20 cars in line, by the way, and this is a Thursday afternoon. So on a really sunny weekend or something like that, definitely beware that that's where people are going. But so we waited in a line of probably 20 cars, but it went really fast. And we had our National Parks Pass with us. We came up and we said, "Hi, I think we're in the wrong place. We see that it says like the state park, and we'd been to that part before, so we had been down that road and paid.
Yeah, so we
paid the
knew that
fee.
it was not the right place, and
Yeah.
we're like, we're looking for the national park or the national park. So how do we get there? And they're like, well, yeah, no. So the national park actually encompasses like a massive part of like Highway 12 that they call it. So they're like, you basically just like drive down Highway 12 and you'll find like parking lot areas that you can park, and then that'll be close to like a beach or a hike or something like that that's maintained by the National Park Service. So we were like, oh, okay. So we turned around and went down Highway 12, and it was beautiful.
But what was
beautiful
so
drive.
perplexing to us, and I'm still confused about it a little bit, is that I don't think that there's any sort of entrance fee.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't.
So we
never
had our
like
parks
crossed.
pass.
We never crossed through like a gate.
Right.
Like there was never like a manned gate or anything like that. I think it's just kind of come park and.
So we parked a little bit further east than we've ever been and walked to a beach. And if you guys catch my Instagram story, there's nobody on that beach, which was really cool to see, given that it was a free public beach, basically. Unless we somehow bypassed the entrance fee, which, by the way, we already have a National Parks Pass, so it doesn't really matter. But it was just so surprising because it was like 69 degrees and sunny outside.
It was nice. It was beautiful. So yeah, we went down there. It was very cool, and had a nice little like 20-minute stop off before jumping in the car and heading back home for you guys.
Yeah, and so Nick's saying Indiana Dunes National Park is fairly new for the National Park Service. That doesn't surprise me. I feel like they're maybe...
Well, they've had the state park for a
Yeah,
long
maybe
time.
they're converting the state park slowly into the national park or something. But it was... The user experience was very confusing. And so we wanted to give you all a heads up because several of you are, in the Midwest and maybe we're going to consider going there. And it's not intuitive.
But it's nice.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of places that you can park and stuff. There's, all the way from, like, there's some in Porter, Indiana, some in Portage, Indiana. Like, there's different cities and stuff that have parts of the national park in it that you can kind of stop in at. So it's pretty cool. So, yeah, just wanted to give you a little heads up on that. We did our first travel since COVID. So
Yeah, so we stayed there for about 20
cheers.
minutes, completely social distanced. Like, literally weren't even within 50 feet of other people. And then we came home. And here we are. So cheers.
Now, I would say not the prettiest place we've been to, so that's not like our. We're not putting our line in the sand. That's not part of our list. But prettiest place we've seen in a while.
Yeah. So. Prettiest place outside of our house that we've been to in 2 months.
Yeah. So.
Hey, Michael Mann. Welcome.
Michael Mann. Welcome, sir. Yeah.
All right. So, prettiest place. Gallivanting gals say Bora Bora. We have not been there, but I've of course seen photos, and I'm sure that's amazing. I don't like overwater bungalow level amazing. It looked like.
Yeah. Thomas Reiser. You need to be a little bit more specific than the UK. That's a big place. Where in the UK? Where's your favorite place in the UK?
How I was thinking we can organize this, at least for our responses, is like by country
okay.
that we visited.
We don't have to narrow us down that much.
Although the US might be a little bit difficult because it's so large. But like, I'm going to actually ask Derek a few questions. Ooh. So, you have been a few places without me for work.
Jane and Travel, welcome.
Hi, Jane and Travel. So, for Singapore, did you go anywhere pretty?
Yeah, Singapore's just pretty.
Was it just the city?
Singapore's really nice. I stayed in the city the whole time. I was there for work. I went to the... we were staying in like the central business district area while we were there, which is super nice, convenient, easy, super nice hotel we were in with cool like rooftop pool and bar and all that kind of stuff. So that was really cool. And I actually had time to like go to the pool and stuff while we were there, which was neat. I would say that the prettiest thing that we did there actually was we got drinks at the top of the iconic hotel towers that are over there that have like the island on top basically. So that's the Marina Bay Sands, something like that, which is super nice and awesome, and would highly recommend it. We went up to, I don't know if it was like a Wolfgang Puck or what it was. It was like one of those restaurants at the top. We did kind of like a tapas style dinner with colleagues, and we were up there for the sunset. So it was like this gorgeous sunset, and you're like looking at the kind of famous pool that you can't get to unless you stay there. That's like the infinity pool that looks out over Singapore. But if you're up there for a drink at sunset, you kind of go up to the partition. I actually had my camera with me, and so I clicked a few. I was totally unashamed of it with like my coworkers. I was like, I'll be right back, because the sunset was actually stunning that night. So that's like the best thing that I saw at Singapore. But I was also working mainly, so I didn't get to go to a bunch of the other stuff.
Yeah. And then Derek had a very long layover in Hong Kong on that same trip, and I know exactly what he's going to say. But
yeah,
what's
gorgeous.
the prettiest place in Hong Kong that you
saw? That I saw? I mean, I only saw one pretty place in Hong Kong.
Right, but I feel like it's the top pretty place.
There's two things, and I'll start with the runner-up. The runner-up is at night. You go to the waterfront, and you can see this awesome like spectacle of lights. I think they might call it something like the spectacle of lights actually, and it's the entire skyline of like Hong Kong does like a light show and stuff. It's like pretty neat. I would say that like my photography of that though is like not the most, I don't know, maybe I just didn't have the right settings on or what, but like I just couldn't get like good shots or good composition with it. So cool to watch, witness, like walk along like the promenades or whatever and like enjoy it. But prettiest, like most breathtaking thing was I woke up super early the morning of my flight back home and headed out to Victoria Peak in Hong Kong.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah, so Victoria Peak's really cool. Took a very expensive Uber ride to the top of the mountain, or at least as close as my Uber driver got me. I had to like continue walking part of the way, and that was kind of nerve-wracking because I was like walking. He's like, walk up that trail, and I'm like, oh, okay. It was like pitch black outside. Nobody else was out.
And he didn't bring his headlamp because we have little headlamps for.
Yeah, I didn't bring that on a work trip.
So
yeah. I go like hiking up this path, like nobody else is here. I'm in like a jungle. Really hope I'm not about to get killed. But it turned out to be fine.
But
I got to the top. I wasn't
yeah.
murdered. And got to go out to. I looked up in advance and found a few like good vistas for some photography, and found some awesome vantage points for as the sun was rising over Hong Kong Harbor, and that is a stunning and breathtaking thing to go experience.
Nice.
So when Eliz and I go together, that's what we will do.
Yeah, I'm super jealous. He took an incredible photo when he was up there for sunrise. And it performed like really well on Instagram, and
Yeah.
I wasn't even there.
Yeah, it was nice though. It was really cool. And then the only other place I went on that trip was to Japan, and was there for a long layover again. So didn't get to see a bunch. I got to
There's definitely places in Japan that are prettier than what you got to see.
Yes, all I did was
shout out if you've actually been to Japan and have some top spots.
Yeah, all I was gonna say is I don't have like that from Japan, right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't go to like anything that was like super awesome. I did get to like walk around the outside of the Imperial City because by the time my flight landed and I got into Tokyo, you couldn't get in anymore and stuff like that. So I was able to like walk around a little bit, but nothing super special while I was there. So
yeah. So for when we were both in China together in 2019, I would say that I think we did not really talk this through in advance, so
Nope.
we might dispute each other on a few of these.
Yep.
But just sticking with the last country in Asia that we've touched, for China, I think Tongli, which was the canal town outside of, well, technically it's outside of Suzhou, but it was a day trip from Shanghai that we did. It's one of those like Suzhou is also a massive city that just happens to be like outside of Shanghai, which is even a more massive city. So it's like Tongli is like a suburb of a suburb. But it was beautiful, and it's in like one of the water towns of China, where they have all these 1,000-year-old canals, and just really, really pretty experience.
That was cool. Obviously you can't beat like going
Hi,
and
virtual dinner party.
Hey, how you doing? Obviously you can't beat going to like the Great Wall and stuff like that, but it is crowded, tons of people and stuff. There's a few places that you can kind of set up for some pictures where just because of how it's kind of like bends, you can kind of get it where it looks like there's not a ton of people. But otherwise, you're pretty crowded.
I heard on the weekends it's way more crowded than on the weekdays.
And we lucked out on our weather pretty well there, so we actually had some blue skies while we were in both Shanghai. So like the first day we were there, basically it was like blue with fluffy white clouds, and our friend who we were staying with there was like, we've got to go to the Bund now because we weren't going to go today, but now we've got to go because it's like a blue sky and that'll give you the best like view of like the skyline. So like we booked it down there and we got some good pictures of the skyline. Us and what felt like the rest of China. It was very crowded. But there's a lot of crowds there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know that we're falling really behind on the chat, so we will catch up because it seems like you all have a lot to add, which I'm super excited about.
And real quick, Dangerous Murderer.
Yeah,
that's
it.
Quite the name.
That's a terrifying name.
Thank you for visiting.
We have not traveled to Pakistan.
Never been to Pakistan.
We wouldn't be against it.
Yeah, never been, but why not?
Yeah.
We'd go. That's part of the world, like Pakistan and India and like that region of the world that we've never been to, and it's definitely on our list of places to go. I have friends from Pakistan though. They love it. So.
Yeah. So,
all right. So in the United States, real quick.
Well,
what do you think?
let's. If you want to do the U.S., I was gonna move on to South America, but.
South America. Yeah. What do you think? I know what mine is.
So the countries that we visited are Chile, Argentina, and Uruguay.
Uruguay. Yeah.
So those are the only ones that we can tap into. If you guys have other ones that you want to say, shout them out. But do you want to go like in Chile?
Just
say
in terms
Viña
of natural.
Del Mar was beautiful. But we also never went to Patagonia there.
Yeah.
So I feel like I would actually would have voted that based on photos. But
Well, I would say we never went to Patagonia, but the most beautiful like natural beauty we saw was in Argentina and Bariloche,
and it was
which is really
it was
cool.
similar to Colorado in certain ways. We're like very mountainous, and then it would have lakes and stuff like that. And it's kind of like Scotland too.
But a massive lake.
Yeah, massive lake.
Yeah.
Lake Nawawapi. And then, so that was Argentina for sure. That was like the top prettiest that we saw there.
Oh.
And then in Uruguay, I would say the colonial town, Colonial del Sacramento, was really nice. Colonia del Sacramento was awesome.
Yeah, very pretty.
Probably a lot of people would argue Punta del Este is really nice there. I would go slightly west and say Casa Pueblo was just a stunner. And that's...
it's like a building.
Yeah, that's just like a few miles west of...
but go
Punta
look
del
it up.
Este.
Like, Casa Pueblo is like this like really unique hotel that was like created by an artist. There's like no like straight walls or something like that.
Yeah, no straight lines.
It's a lot of, like,
and the
rounded
architecture,
edges.
it's awesome.
It's very
So
cool.
those are our top ones for South America based on our experiences there. In Canada, so we have not been everywhere. We have not been to Banff or like Nova Scotia or something. So this is based on our experiences alone, which we've only been to Vancouver,
Quebec City.
Victoria, and Quebec City. Yeah. All three of those are phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's very hard to choose with Canada. But I would say Quebec City.
Yeah, I'd choose Quebec City.
A week from our next live stream, a week from today, is on our anniversary of getting engaged in Quebec City. So we'll be cheersing to that next week.
4 years ago.
4 years ago today, or 4 years ago
That day.
that day.
A week from now. Yeah, I mean, Quebec City kind of has everything. You know, you can go and they've got the awesome like Plains of Abraham Park that overlooks the St. Lawrence River. It's very picturesque.
Yeah.
Okay. The U.S. Real quick, I would say if I had to guess, mine would be southern Utah, generally as a region.
Yeah. So I don't know if I can
Including,
choose
like,
a
Moab?
top prettiest, but that was
Okay.
definitely from like the southwest.
Yeah.
Really, really stunning.
If you take the southern half of Utah, which gives you like probably like Moab
Zion.
and Zion and
Yeah.
all that, like, I mean, how can you beat that? It's
But
pretty
then
stunning.
on the west coast, again, I haven't been everywhere, but we've been all over California.
See, we're
and,
cheating. We are not picking one.
But Mendocino was beautiful in California.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to stay longer. We were only there for a day trip, and I was like, oh, this is like incredible. So there's a
Yeah.
state park over in Mendocino. It's north of Sonoma County, right on the coast.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys are ever over there, you get to see redwoods, and then there's like cliffs, similar to like the Cliffs of Moher in Ireland type sort of. Actually, the thumbnail for this live stream, we were in Mendocino on the beach. So
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Let's move on to Europe real quick so we can get to what everybody else has to say.
totally.
And Tucson's nice too.
Why don't
okay?
we actually just, before moving on to Europe, maybe let's just jump in and go.
Yeah,
through
let's
what
jump
everybody's
in.
saying,
I think we've
because-
got enough stuff to like feed the coffer for a bit. you
Yeah,
know?
when we're always like slow.
All right, so real quick, Blaine is saying, "Look here, Derek, you already have a ring on it, so no buttering up now." LOL. Germany.
It's the key to happy life, happy wife.
Germany travel personal guide Darian is telling us one of the prettiest places I've traveled to is the Zugspitze, aka top of Germany, located near Garmisch, Germany. Cool. I think
Yeah,
we've talked
he
about that a
always
little
says
bit.
Garmisch,
Yeah,
Germany.
Garmisch is always on Darian's list.
I also added, so I've always dreamed of Bavaria, but I forget which your account posted a photo today on Instagram, but there was one photo today that I ended up following the location of and figuring out where it was, and it was outside of Hamburg, and so, which is in the north. So, I mean, there's
Cool.
clearly places all over Germany that are just picture perfect.
Everywhere. Alan A. says that Northwest Indiana sounds like a good test for the virus to make sure you haven't lost your sense of smell. Yes.
Yeah, no, we're virus
We
free
smelled
if
it,
that's
yeah.
the if that's the bar.
Yeah, and Thomas Reiser is letting us know that there's also oil production in Indiana, which is not something I ever realized. All my family basically worked in the steel mills in that area.
Yeah, and we met somebody, face masks on and everything today, and she was telling me that her husband's she was at the place that we went to, and she's like, yeah, my husband's hours shifted. I'm like, oh, what does your husband do? And she's like, he works in the mills. Like, as if I should totally
Well,
know.
when Eliz told me that story, I'm like,
Obviously.
yeah.
And
I was like, have you ever been here? Like, come on.
And, well, it's also because Derek's family, like, everybody worked in the mills, too. So I'm just like, yeah, I should have known that. Sorry.
That's not even the best part. We then passed by a place, and it said, like, ArcelorMittal this way. And Eliz goes, what do they make? And I'm
I was
like,
literally like, what do they make again?
steel? And she was like, oh, my God.
I'm like, I am just having
I was like, wow, I am embarrassed for you. And now the world knows.
Hopefully... I never lived there, just to be clear. But, like, I went to Indiana University and I married into this family. So he was just like, Eliz,
you're funny.
shut it.
Nick Peterson is saying Ireland, and he lives Dublin. The fields of Ireland are so freaking green, it's unbelievable until you see it for yourself. One of the many reasons I love the Emerald Isle.
Yeah.
I've never been.
I would actually, so I've been to Dublin, but I've also been to other parts of Ireland too, and I thought the Cliffs of Moher were amazing.
Yeah.
What I want to go back someday and do with Derek is the Ring of Kerry, because I hear that's lovely, but we didn't get to do that.
Yeah. She did kiss the Blarney Stone, which I told her not to do. But...
Everyone says not to do it, and I did it anyway.
Ugh,
I'm gross. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, backstory to that is they say that the Blarney Stone gets pissed on by locals.
It's like a rite of passage for young kids in the area, I guess.
But all the tourists kiss it anyway.
Yep. Okay. So I'm trying to get down to another thing. Michael Mann just popping in for a minute to say hi. Busy evening, so we'll see if I can check back in later. Hope all is well with you all.
Hope all
Thanks,
is well
Michael.
with Michael Mann, too.
We hope that you get to come back, but if not, I hope you have a great evening.
Yep. I'm glad we got to say hi when he was first joining.
So Thomas Reiser saying it used to be a national lakeshore. Yeah, so it's still largely a national lakeshore up there. But I do think that there's like a park and stuff now too.
We were super confused because the area that we were in was labeled National Lakeshore, and then we passed by a building that the signs had been taken down and leaned against the building, and it said like Indiana Dunes National Park Maintenance Center. And we were just super confused because there was like there's State Park Road, and then there's the state park.
Yeah.
But Google, when you say I want to go to the national park, it takes you to the state park. It was
yeah. So Vega Bonnie is
hard.
saying that she agrees with Nick Peterson, and the drive along the wild Atlantic Way in Ireland was gorgeous.
Yeah.
I would love to drive around Ireland. We've done the drive around Scotland, which I would do again.
Yeah.
We didn't drive in Wales, but I think if we went again, we would drive this time.
Yes. We went to Wales when we were still under 25, and so I think we were like 24.
Yeah.
Meaning that renting a car was going to be like way more expensive.
That was our first big European trip together, post college.
Yeah.
I would love to go to like the UK for like 2 months and just rent a car, start in the south, and just like work our way up and over and all that stuff. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and even then, like 2 months wouldn't even be enough for me.
No.
Love it there. I'm with Thomas Reiser on that one.
My entry is the UK.
Yep.
It's all of the UK. It's beautiful. Blaine is saying that things are good with them and that they're pretty much open at this point. I think he means post-COVID.
Yeah,
That's
in
cool.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
And we're still like heavily closed here in Chicago. So the fact that Derek and I went anywhere was like groundbreaking.
Yeah, I know. But it was good to get out of the house and stuff and go for a longer drive and whatnot.
Yeah.
Lori Sims, well, actually, first, Gallivanting Gals is asking if we were looking at RVs. We were not looking at RVs. No. Nothing so fun. Lori Sims, pretty is relative. I enjoy beaches and all museums.
And that's totally true. And Derek and I have always leaned a little bit heavier on mountains than beaches when you, like, kind of are forced to choose. So I totally agree that pretty is relative. For some people, having the ocean, the sound of the waves and the ocean scene and the sun setting over the horizon or something like that, like, game over for them. That's their top choice.
Yeah, and for anybody who's interested, my picture of me on, like, Instagram. Actually, so I just, like, changed all my, like, social media stuff, so it actually, like, is aligned now. So, like, my Facebook picture, my Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff is, like, all the same now. So you'll know it's me. Is actually a picture from a beach in. Actually, it's like a little bar off of a beach in Uruguay, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like beaches too. But if you have limited time,
for chilling.
Yeah, I like to chill.
Yeah.
And enjoy an occasional museum. Nick Peterson is saying that he plans to leave Minneapolis at midnight for his East Coast drive, just to try to beat the traffic in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you don't mean, like, midnight tonight.
I don't know. Do you mean tonight? Are you leaving tonight?
I don't know.
I hope you're not drinking. Yeah, I will say that...
or if you are, it's coffee.
Yeah. I will say it was hilarious. Like, driving to Northwest Indiana today at, like, noon, there's, like, nobody on the road.
Yeah.
It was, like,
if you are
empty.
leaving tonight, there's not going to be any traffic in Chicago.
Coming back at, like, 4 p.m. when we were on the road, there's definitely traffic, but not anything like what you would expect coming out, like, the Thursday evening of a long weekend.
Yeah.
Like, you would expect it to be just, like, horrible traffic here in Chicago. It wasn't that bad. Gallivanting Gals is saying OBW is the way to go when they're so awesome.
I don't know what that's in reference to, sorry.
I don't know if that means to be OBX, like the Outer Banks.
Oh, maybe.
Ronnie Dove, haven't traveled outside the States yet, so I'm going to say Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I hear there's beautiful bridges in Pittsburgh. That's one place that I have not yet been to in that region. I feel like I've been to all of the other cities, kind of in the Rust Belt, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, I've driven through Pittsburgh. I haven't spent a significant amount of time there. I've got a buddy who lives out there, though. Blaine is saying prettiest places for them would be Colorado or Glacier National Park in Montana.
Actually,
I'd love to go to Glacier.
I totally just lied because I still haven't been to Detroit. I've been to the airport a lot of times, but I've never gone to Detroit. We were going to do that. Maybe we'll add that to our list.
I've been to Detroit on business many times.
I
You're
know.
not missing a lot.
Yeah, well, there's stuff there.
Yeah. Sports teams. Megan Morris is saying Great Ocean Road, Australia, and Lucerne in Switzerland, and the country of Ecuador.
Yeah. All of those I would love to go to. You didn't go to Lucerne, right, when you were in Switzerland?
No, I've been to Geneva, and I've been to the airport in... What's the other big one? Jeez. Geneva and...
Oh, sorry, Zurich.
That's the other one.
I wasn't really
It's like the big one. She's just like staring at me.
I was reading.
Hi.
I was reading Thor Avenger down here. Joined and asked again if we'd been to Pakistan.
We've not been to Pakistan, Thor.
Answer is still.
But I do like the name
Thor.
No. That's always fun.
But this is an interesting chat asking us about Pakistan.
Okay, so Thomas Reiser, too hard to narrow down. Clearly we thought so too, and we cheated since we're the hosts, and we went by like country and region. Why not? Vega Bani says pretty place Bali. Pretty much the whole island.
Yeah, my best friend went to Bali and she raved about it. We're gonna have to get back. We're gonna have to get there. I've heard wonderful, wonderful things.
Yeah. So Michael Mann Tough call, but I'd have to say the prettiest place I've been in the U.S. was Carmel by the Sea in California, which is a place I've never been to. Have you?
I've driven through it.
Oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
I've never been. I would like to go.
I haven't like stopped there, but yeah, it's lovely.
I'd love to go photograph it. It's gorgeous from all the pictures I've seen.
Yeah.
Alan A is saying that Ruth just mentioned Carmel, so we agree with that one. Mo is saying Malaysia is just breathtaking. Been there in 2011 and 2014 and need to go back. That'd be cool. I'd love to go to Malaysia.
Yeah. If I get to go
close to Singapore.
Yeah, if I get to go to Singapore.
Yeah, we
ever,
would definitely. Yeah, no. If we went to Singapore,
add Malaysia in there.
If we went to Singapore for like an extended period of time, and actually our friend, our very good friend, who we visited in Shanghai, actually lives in Singapore now. So we're gonna need to get out to see you, bud, and then we can make it to Malaysia.
Yeah.
And Indonesia and stuff, like do all those things.
Yeah, if we can ever fly again.
Yeah, once we can fly again, we're coming for you.
Derek, when he went to Singapore for work, he went in July, and it was like crazy, crazy hot. I know it's always crazy hot, but
it's on the equator.
Exceptionally crazy hot. And we ended up having to do a very, very... Because he found out that you found out you were going, I think, a week before you left. And then all of a sudden we realized he didn't have any work-appropriate clothes for that temperature and humidity.
Yeah.
And so we did like this crazy, like right before the store closed.
I was definitely buying a lot of like linen shirts.
Yeah, I think the store closed
fun
at
stuff like that.
9 p.m. the day before you left, and we arrived at the store at 8:45 p.m. And Derek was like, "Give me all your linen shirts in medium. I'll meet you," and like to the people that work there, like, "I'll meet you in the fitting room." Yeah. So that was a funny one. And we had the same type of thing happen right before we went to Moab in August last year.
Yeah. We had an emergency Lululemon run.
Yeah. We all of a sudden realized that it was going to be
that was an expensive
a high
emergency
of like
run.
102 in Arches National Park and Canyonlands National Park, and we certainly did not have the right like hiking clothes for that weather. And so we were like, oh god, we are leaving tomorrow and we have to go get some clothes.
Any emergency at Lululemon means a lot of money out of your bank account.
Yeah, it really increased the cost of that trip, that's for sure.
Gallivanting Gals, Acadia National Park is in the fall. Florence with the sun setting over the Duomo are up there. But for us, all of Tahiti takes the cake. You've got good taste, Gallivanting Gals. You got good taste.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys know what to do.
Yeah. Michael Mann. Katie Smith is agreeing with Michael Mann.
Florence is beautiful. However,
Florence is
if we're talking about
among
Italy,
the top of my list.
if we're talking about Italy, my top prettiest place that we went to was Lake Como. It was just breathtaking with the mountains and the lakes.
Yeah, Lake Como is
Common
awesome.
theme for
it's
you
kind of like
guys.
Bariloche. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of mountains and lakes. Yeah, no, it's Lake Como is gorgeous. The problem is like driving in is like very windy and stuff, and like I'm driving and she's like, "Oh my god, it's so pretty! Don't look! Oh my like."
That happened today, actually.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh my god, pretty lake!" Yeah.
Because we were driving through a place that was like the road was totally fine. There was no water in the road or anything, but there was like swamp on either side because it's a wetland, over in the Great Lakes area. And so we were driving, and I was like, "Oh wow, look at all this beautiful wetlands!" And then Derek starts like swerving. And I'm like, "Nope, don't look, don't look, don't look at it. It's not beautiful."
But like those like wetland like type areas and stuff where it's like the water and the trees are coming out of the water and it's like super still
cool.
is gorgeous because actually there's no place for us to actually pull off and stop, but
Yeah.
there's some of those down in like Bloomington, Indiana, where we went to school, and you can like go and you can drive around them and stuff. It's like pretty neat. And what you do is you get out and you can photograph these awesome things where it's like it's so still that it looks like a mirror, and it's like it just looks like the trees are going in like two directions, kind of like something out of that DiCaprio movie. I'm brain farting today.
Yeah,
What's that?
we're not on our game.
Not
are we?
inversion.
Inception.
Inception. I wanted to say inversion, which I knew wasn't right. Not on my game. But real quick, I'm going to skip ahead because I can see it on my phone, but not on what we're on right now. But Alex Capico, I agree with you, bud. The New York City subway is the prettiest place on earth. No, it's not.
Hi, Alex Capicco.
Gross. But hey, Alex, how you doing, bud?
You live in LA, which is really pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say Santa Monica's nicer. I don't know.
He doesn't
If
live
I
in Santa Monica,
I know
right?
he doesn't.
Okay.
But he used to.
He used to.
And Santa Monica's freaking awesome. Way nicer than the New York City subway system. Okay.
Anything is nicer than the New York subway system. Almost anything.
Yeah. So Nick Peterson is letting us know that his favorite spot in Glacier Park is Essex and the Isaac Walton Inn.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
I really want to go to Glacier National Park. I was going to go with my best friend last fall, and it ended up falling through. But I would love to go to Montana generally, so hopefully I'll get there this year or next.
And Alan A, yeah, I think Capicco is totally joking with us on the whole New York City subway.
Yeah, and he's not a troll.
He's not a troll.
We know him.
We guarantee.
He's just a funny
We were
guy.
roommates at one point.
Yeah. Alex Capicco was Derek's roommate in the fraternity.
So Galvin and Gals, I totally agree with you. Horseshoe Bend is pretty awesome in Utah. And that's in that same kind of like Moab area. So when I said the lower half of Utah being the prettiest, that's included.
And we did just skip, so my dad also said the Smoky Mountains National Park with all the spring blossoms coming out. So we haven't been there. Sounds like somewhere you maybe went before I was born. And I'm sure it's wonderful. You've been to Smoky Mountains National Park, generally.
Yeah, I've been to the Smoky Mountains when I was younger. I've got family that live around there.
But that sounds really pretty.
Yeah. Didn't go in springtime like that, but yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Shenandoah National Park in the fall, especially like mid-October. I actually called Derek on the phone as I was driving through there because I was there for a bachelorette weekend, and I said, we have to go back. It is breathtaking here. This is fall on steroids. We're going back, and every year I keep trying to research how to get back, fly direct from Chicago to Charlottesville, Virginia, so we could do it. Yeah. But it just hasn't worked out yet. Maybe 2020 is the year.
All right, real quick, Mark Walters, welcome, bud. Glad you could
Mark.
join us and get your internet working.
Yay.
Right now we're just talking about like prettiest places we've been to, so we're just going through the feed now. Eliz and I cheated, and we just kind of went region by region and talked about the pretty things we've seen. But if you have anything that you think is the prettiest place, please let us know.
Mark's been everywhere. So
He's been to a lot of places.
This is going to be a tough question for him.
Yeah. Eric Brown says, I hear Singapore is so pretty and futuristic. It is. It's really nice. And what's really cool about Singapore is that, I mean, like, the weather is always going to be hot. So you go in there, you know what you're getting into. It has an awesome food scene as well if you're looking for food. Like, if food is one of the ways that you, like, experience a location, which is, for me, it is. If you couldn't tell. What's really cool about it is that Singapore is such a mixture of cultures that have great food. They have the Chinese, Indian, and Malaysian foods that kind of fuse there into like this awesome thing. And you can get great examples of all three cuisines there. Whether you're going to like, they have a bunch of din tai fungs for really cool like soup buns and all that kind of stuff, to, you know, Peking duck and, you know, a bunch of different stuff there. So, or you can get laksa or something like that. That's a standard Malaysian dish. It's awesome.
Yes.
And they have these really cool outdoor like food stall type areas that are phenomenal.
And yes, I grew up in the western suburbs of Chicago. The mean streets.
Something like that. Nick Peterson says, I'm hoping I can get over and explore the countryside for myself. Dublin is great, but there is so much more to Ireland than Dublin. Cool.
There is. And honestly, like, go outside of Dublin, full stop. I mean, Dublin is great for a few nights, but, like, to really experience Ireland, you should go to, like, Cork and Galway and stuff like that.
Mark Finley, hello Mark, is saying that Terry and I need to go on a walk and work off the burgers and tater tots we just ate. See you cool kids later.
I love
sir.
tater tots.
Tater tots are
enjoy that
delicious.
walk.
Enjoy.
We'll be on.
We'll be on if
Maybe
you
when you're back.
if you come back. Yeah. Gallivanting Gaz is saying on a good day, I will say SFO can be pretty.
Yeah, it can.
Like the airport?
Well, yeah, the airport probably not as much, but San Francisco can be quite pretty.
Oh, yeah, San Francisco can be really pretty. Maybe the airport, I don't know. I've never looked at it that way. But yeah, the city can definitely be pretty.
Yeah.
Virtual dinner party. Hello. Eric Brown is saying that he's also heard of Horseshoe Bend. Horseshoe Bend is super cool. It's a state park in Utah. It's right by Canyonlands National Park.
You're thinking of Dead Horse Canyon.
No, yeah, you're right. I was thinking Dead Horse.
Which is
Point.
Dead Horse Point, yeah. Which
Horseshoe
is very
Bend.
similar to Horseshoe Bend. So there's actually several of those.
They look similar.
There's several of those bends in the Colorado River, and some of them are more famous than others, but they all can kind of give you that beautiful scene. So, like, one of the ones that's much less known is Goosenecks of the San Juan, which I guess it maybe isn't the Colorado River, it might be the San Juan River. But yeah, there's a lot in Utah that you can kind of get that really pretty curvature of a river and a canyon.
Yeah, so my bad. Horseshoe Bend, never been there. Pictures are always stunning. Dead Horse State Park, though, by Moab, is also breathtaking and a really stunning place to get a picture. So
just watch your footing, everybody.
Depends on where you are. Yeah, she got freaked out. She thought I was going to fall to my death. I was like, I'm fine.
He wasn't like...
Take my picture.
He wasn't even that close to the edge. I just was...
She's like, you look close to the edge. I'm like, that's the point. Take the picture.
I just was feeling very scared.
The whole time, she's like, I'm getting bad vibes from here.
Especially because the whole place is called Dead Horse. You know, it's just...
because a bunch of horses died there.
But it was beautiful. We took awesome photos there, and I was just paranoid.
Yep.
So there's that.
All right. So Thomas Reiser is telling Nick to make sure he makes it north into to go north and Republic of Ireland.
Yeah. Tongli. It's not a person. It is Tongli. Is how it's spelled.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So Tongli is it's a city on a river. That's really pretty. It's super cool.
Yeah.
We've already talked to these people.
Yes, we did. We have not been to Pakistan.
New Ross in Ireland. Okay, so Mo is telling Nick to visit New Ross in Ireland, and that JFK's family. Oh no.
JFK's family is from there. Sorry, it jumped. That was my fault. Ooh, it really jumped.
Yeah, it really jumped. We are really behind. We're going to try to catch up. Okay.
SF is really pretty.
Yeah.
Last went to SF in December, and it was beautiful, clear skies and no rain. Yes.
Nice, Lori.
We went.
That's when we need to go.
We went at the end of November, so we just missed you.
Yeah.
But it was also pretty nice when we were there.
Oh yeah,
at least for part of it.
Yeah, we were there for my cousin's wedding, and it was stunning. It was up in like the mountain type area. Had a great time.
But then we spent a night in the city too. Was Japan for the month of November? Was in Japan for the month of November.
Wow.
Loved Kyoto, Okinawa, Ishigaki, and Shimizu. Yeah.
We need to go for a month to Japan. That's
Bonnie,
what
that is so
I just
great
learned.
That you got to go for an entire month.
Man.
I've heard great things about Kyoto as well.
Oh yeah, no, Kyoto is totally the place I'd want to go. Alan A is saying, other thought is sunsets in Tucson is pretty awesome too.
We have
I
quite
agree.
a motorcyclist outside.
Sunsets
Sorry, everybody.
in Tucson are very pretty.
Yes.
I remember the day of my wedding. Well, that wasn't a sunset, that was a sunrise. I woke up for the sunrise for the day of my wedding because I wanted to experience the whole day.
Yeah.
See that? See, I'm buttering up.
But yes, they are exceptional.
Yeah. Thomas Reiser wants to go to the Falkland Islands.
I do too.
Yeah, that'd be super cool.
We were in Argentina, but couldn't make it all the way there. And then Nick Peterson says he's going to New Ross to see the Famine Ship Museum. I did not realize that it was JFK's family's hometown. I did not either, so we're all learning something tonight.
Yeah, Galvin Gals thinks Vienna is a pretty city.
Yeah.
I've seen the pictures. We've never been to Vienna. I super want to go. I'd love to make that part of my like road trip through Central and Eastern Europe. It
used to be so wealthy that all the buildings there.
It was the heart of the Habsburg dynasty.
Yeah,
Awesome.
all the buildings there are just opulent.
Yeah, Galvin Gals, the redwoods are pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Also
Vancouver
pretty.
is beautiful. Totally Nick Peterson. It's hard to even say like Quebec City's top because Vancouver and the surrounding area it's totally different.
Yeah, they're different.
Yet
I would say as a
stunning.
city, I personally like the aesthetic of Quebec City, but the surrounding like nature and stuff of Vancouver is very diversified in terms of you have beaches, you have mountains, you have a rainforest. You kind of have everything there. Whereas I think Quebec is a little bit more just like forest.
I really loved Victoria as well. So Victoria, which is on Vancouver Island, kind of across the sound from Vancouver, is British. Like very, very British influence. We talked about that actually on the last live stream where we talked about places in North America that have European influence. And that in itself, like there was flowers everywhere, just English gardens, really pretty architecture. So lots of really awesome spots to explore in Canada.
So Eric Brown is saying that Seattle is probably the prettiest city, and Miami Beach second that I've been to. I like Seattle.
Seattle's lovely.
Yeah.
When it's
really
not
great.
raining.
We were in Seattle
Which
last.
we've experienced it both ways.
Yeah, so we were in Seattle last year, visiting some friends, and we were there it was, like for an epic thunderstorm. Like it was crazy the amount of lightning that was happening.
Apparently it never lightnings in Seattle.
Yeah,
and
which
so
is I guess rare. I guess it rains a lot, but like actually having like a thunderstorm is actually pretty rare.
people were talking about it there for days later.
Like locals were
Yes.
like, "Oh my god, did you see the lightning?" Like we're walking through the airport and like we saw like multiple people who worked at the airport talking to each other about the lightning storm.
Yeah.
And we were lucky enough that like we were at one of the like observation points basically overlooking the city, taking photographs as it was rolling in. Like you're just seeing like lightning strikes hitting in the background.
Yeah.
And of course I'm there with all my camera gear and stuff, setting up a tripod, and I'm like, just one more shot, guys.
It's about to pour.
Finally
rain.
it just starts like lightning like not quite around us, and I'm like running to the car with like a freaking like metal stick in my hand basically, and I'm like, it started pouring, I like jump in the car and we start going. That's the only time I've ever been like scared driving through a lightning storm. Like I've never been in a storm and like truly scared while in a car. This is the one time where there was so much lightning happening around us that I was just like, I don't know if we're gonna make it to the like restaurant.
it was very clear that all the people in Seattle didn't know how to drive in a lightning storm, so I was scared just like to be around all those drivers.
It was nuts.
That kind of happens in Tucson, by the way. If anybody goes to Arizona during monsoon season, people forget how to drive in rain. So
Yeah.
you have to be kind of careful about that.
So a lot of people like Vienna and Vancouver. What else?
People are agreeing about Seattle being beautiful.
People like Seattle. Yeah. Falkland Islands. Bonnie is telling Thomas that she loved the Falkland Islands.
Mark says today was the day they were supposed to be in Hallstatt. Oh, that's supposed to be so stunning.
Yeah.
I want to go there.
Yeah,
very
Hallstatt
badly.
is definitely a place I want to go to.
If anyone's been, I'm sure they would add that to the prettiest places list.
I think Galvanting Gals meant bummer?
Yeah, they said bummer.
Yeah, but it says like, boner?
It says Bonner.
Okay.
And then
Thomas Reiser would have
Thomas
been in
Reiser
Oxford.
he would have been in Oxford right now, which we've been. It's a really, really cool
Tell me
spot.
this, Thomas, would you go on a punting tour in Oxford? Because I hear that's really nice.
Do they? Yeah, they have
Is that-
punting in Oxford too.
is
I
that-
think.
or is
we
it just
didn't.
a Cambridge
We
thing?
didn't do that in Oxford, but we did punting in Cambridge and in
Kent,
Kent. Yes.
which is very nice.
But yeah, Oxford's really cool. Definitely take the tour of the school. no reason not to really, but it's worth the money. It's really
Yeah.
interesting to hear the history of Oxford University.
Yeah. So Nick Peterson is saying that
Tracy kissed the Blarney Stone too, by the way.
Tracy did.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
We're
Good
in
on
this,
ya.
We're in this together.
Um,
I wonder if Nick Peterson kissed a Blarney Stone.
Nick D, welcome, bud.
Hi, Nick D.
Just saw that. Sorry about that. We're running behind, obviously. Gallivanting Gals saying yes. Ring of Kerry and Dingle.
Yeah,
Dingle Peninsula.
Dingle's the name of a place.
And Tracy kissed the Blarney Stone. Very fun.
Yeah.
But real quick, Nick Peterson is saying today I should have been in Charleville, County Cork, Ireland. It's a bummer, man.
Southern Ireland. Beautiful.
Such a bummer. Alan A is telling Mark Finley today's the day that I was supposed to get my hair cut.
Also, LOL, because my dad
That's awesome.
and my mom get their haircut religiously, like every 6 weeks, and quarantine has definitely been longer than 6 weeks, so that means that they've been counting it each time. Or they've been letting it go.
That's so funny. Laurie Sims is saying, keep watching. The countries of Europe are reopening, which is true. Kind of like every day you're hearing a little bit more and more about how Europe is reopening and whatnot.
I'm finding it hard to keep track, even just all the states, like all the different rules in all the different states. So I've been really grateful for the resources that are published online, and like I know Jocelyn, for example, has been doing a lot of aggregation of what the rules are everywhere. So that's just amazing to be able to have that type of resource right now, because otherwise I feel like I would feel lost.
Yeah.
At home.
So Bonnie is letting us know that there's a very pretty drive around Lake Geneva, especially Montreux, home of the famous jazz festival and statue of Jim Morrison.
Cool.
We need to make it out to Lake Geneva. That'd be really pretty. Lake Geneva, also famously home of the origins of Gen Con, for all the nerds out there. Gen Con is the really big, it's like Indianapolis's Comic Con.
Can I just make sure we're talking about the same thing? I think she's talking about Lake Geneva in Switzerland, and I think you're talking about Lake Geneva in Illinois.
Jim Morrison? Lake Geneva in Switzerland? Interesting.
Maybe I'm wrong.
All right, so there's a Lake Geneva in Wisconsin.
Yes, in Wisconsin.
That I'm thinking of, and I might be wrong. You might be talking about something else.
Maybe it's the one in Wisconsin that she's talking about, but Montreux sounds Swiss to me.
It does. I mean, I don't know. Sounds foreign. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so Lake Geneva in Wisconsin, at least, is where Gen Con comes from. That's why it's called Gen Con, is Geneva Con. And that's in Indianapolis, though. So, I don't know. Galvin and Gals laughing at Alan A's comment, which was super funny. Nick was supposed to be at Close to More on the 17th. Fingers crossed for the future.
Yeah. You get to go next year. So.
Galvin and Gals at Vega Bonnie. Where have you not been? Wow, you seem to have been everywhere. She's been everywhere.
Bonnie's been everywhere, and she gets to tell us about it, which is great. You skipped over Muhammad.
Oh no, Muhammad. It's okay. So he's telling Nick it's going to be extremely emotional. It was for me when I visited some family in Iran and saw the ruins of the Persian Empire. And being Persian, it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Every time that anyone visits the place where their family is from, you kind of get these emotions that just stir from the inside of your heart, almost. Yeah. Like, this feels symbolic to me.
Yeah, and so we've got a good buddy who's Persian, and I didn't realize until like after I'd known him for like 5 years that I was pronouncing his name wrong the whole time. His name is Asha. So we had always called him back in college Asha, and I guess it's Asha.
Yeah.
And we had been putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable for like half a decade, and he didn't correct us ever, which was embarrassing on my end. But I would love to go see the ruins of like Persia and whatnot. Like, just it's like the Persian Empire and like its place in like world like history is massive.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a real argument that the Greeks wouldn't have half the culture that they developed without the Persian Empire and a lot of that influence and stuff. Jocelyn, not saying anything bad about the Greeks. But yeah, no, the Persian's awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry to have skipped you, Mo. Did not mean to. Katie Smith, El Nido, Philippines is one of my top beautiful places. My husband is Filipino, so we enjoy going there and seeing at least some of the 7,000 islands that make up the country.
So neither of us have been to the Philippines, even though I had a close friend growing up who was Filipino, and Derek's aunt is Filipino, but he didn't get to go to his
The
aunt and
Filipino
uncle's
wedding.
Filipino wedding. They had one in Vegas here.
I went to the one in Vegas. Didn't go to the one in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Didn't have the swag back then. Couldn't
You're
make
like
that
a
trip.
teenager, right?
I was in high school.
Yeah.
Couldn't make that trip. But yeah, no, I mean, the Philippines would be really cool.
I think
I've
I'm
never
ready
been.
for my second cider. Oh my gosh. So I'm
She's
drinking,
a
just so you guys
drinker.
know, a cider from Michigan called Vandermill. Pretty good stuff. Highly recommend.
Sounds so crisp.
Thank you. All right, what
Yes,
else
not
we
in all
got?
the way.
I'll get it. Actually, this is...
Okay, Nick Peterson. I loved getting a pint of Guinness at the 360-degree bar on the top of the brewery. Iconic Dublin views, my favorite view of the city.
I did that too.
I've heard that.
That is
and
the-
you heard it here. She goes on like freaking brewery tours without me, but she won't let me go with her.
Okay, so in Dublin, I felt like you have to do that. Like, that's
You're
the
in
number
Amsterdam. I was at
Okay.
Heineken tour.
Well, we were going to do that. We just were, asked to come home by our government. So,
The day that I wanted to go, we were still out and about. Just saying.
anyway, so,
That was not you guys. That was.
I definitely went on a brewery tour without him in Bruges last summer too, and I don't drink beer, so it's just
I wanted to go to one in like Belgium, and she said no. God, I need to travel without my wife. She's holding me back, guys. She's not letting me go do things. No, you cry. You cry those tears. Okay, moving on. Thomas Reiser enjoys riding trains.
Derek doesn't need help. I need to blink twice.
She's
It's Walter's saying blink.
Derek, blink twice if you need help. Blink a lot.
What happens if he blinked 5 times? What does that mean?
Send the SWAT team.
It means, oh, Derek got new glasses. You guys should all see him. Although you're wearing contacts.
I'm wearing
now,
contacts
so
right
then you'd
now.
be like crossing.
No,
maybe Sunday's live stream, you guys will see Derek's glasses.
maybe it does have blue. I should have had it for this one because it has like the blue light filter stuff or whatever. So I'll still be able to go to sleep. Like circadian rhythm and all that
Be
stuff.
up all night.
Thomas Reiser, okay, yes, enjoy riding trains. Vega Bani, I have not been to Australia or New Zealand. Woe is me. So those are the places she has not
Nor
been.
have we.
Everywhere else,
I
Bonnie's been.
just want to say I also enjoy riding trains. I think that's like a very important thing to just validate Thomas Reiser with.
But I will say, as we all learned last time, she knows nothing about the Amtrak.
I know nothing about the Amtrak now.
But if you're
I
looking
did
for,
take a peek at so Nick, thank you Nick. He sent me the Amtrak map, and it definitely is very clear that Chicago is an Amtrak hub. So just looking at it, so news to me.
So I will say real quick, Vega Bani just said deep purple smoke on the water. It all came out of like the Montreux area, and I do remember that actually. That's very interesting. I'd forgotten about that. In Switzerland, so she was talking about Lake Geneva in Switzerland. So cool, awesome.
I'm jumping.
I've never been to Lake Geneva, but I have seen Lake Constance, which is on the eastern border with Germany, and that's pretty cool.
I'm jumping to Megan Morris's recent comment, and then we're going back to where we were. But I did not actually choose to take Derek to Lululemon. I hadn't owned anything from Lululemon until that trip. There's one few blocks from our house, and that was literally the only store that we would be able to get to before everything closed and we had to go to Utah. That was the only reason why we went to Lululemon. Otherwise, I'm kind of an Athleta person, but that's neither here nor there.
But I agree, she does need to go to a brewery with me.
I'm
now.
also a Target workout clothes person. Shout out to the C9 brand.
Galvan and Gals was saying, okay, well, actually, we kind of skipped this, but she was asking Katie Smith whether or not she watches The Delightful Travelers, because they are currently stuck in El Nido, currently, with the COVID stuff. So that's interesting.
Megan. Sorry, I'm jumping to this again. Don't go to Tucson in July.
Super hot.
The only times that you really shouldn't go to Tucson is July and August, and that's because it's during monsoon season, and that's the only time of year that it's both hot and humid, and it rains once a day. So, like most of the rest of the year, it's very, very beautiful. But yeah, I don't want you to go to Tucson based on our recommendation and then be like, what were they talking about?
Just real quick, Mark is letting you know that Jocelyn is all about the C9 brand, and she wanted you to know.
Jocelyn, yes. I really, like, most of my workout clothes are C9.
I'm whatever brand she buys me. I don't know.
You have a few C9 things, too.
Do I?
Yeah.
Probably.
I also just love Target generally because I'm that girl. So.
I don't know. I mean, I bought, like, a thing of, like, 10 shorts and 10 shirts for workouts, like, 5 years ago, and I've never bought anything since.
So Derek and I both went to the business school at IU. Shameless little logo happening here. But Target is a huge sponsor of one of the classes at IU. So they infuse a love of Target into your brain if you go to that school.
So Galvan and Gals is saying, shameless plug, we have an interview with them coming up Saturday to talk about what it's been like locked down there.
That's
so I
true.
assume that you mean you have an interview with the...
With me.
No, with the people in the Philippines.
Oh, with the people in the Philippines. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So cool.
That's way more awesome
That's
than
way
the interview
cooler.
with me. Yeah.
I was not invited to the interview.
You were.
What? You didn't tell me.
Well,
She's cutting me out, guys.
you were busy. You were working.
Busy. Okay.
Derek's got a working
Megan
works.
Morris, you guys have sold me on Tucson. Looking at possible
That's
July.
what I was
yeah, okay.
responding
Yeah,
to.
don't go in July.
Don't go in July. That's the only.
November.
That's like
November's beautiful. It's like mid 70s.
pretty much October through May are solid. It would probably be too cold for the pool in like December and maybe parts of January, but like October through May, you're gonna get great weather, most likely. Just don't go in July or August, and then
wouldn't
June
do
is
that.
just hot. Like it's hot without the rain,
Yeah.
so you still like wouldn't really be out.
When's
at the pool
monsoon
and stuff.
season?
July and August.
July and August.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be there for monsoon season. It's kind of crazy. Our wedding was at a place called Hacienda del Sol. It's a really cool boutique hotel. There's 59 hotel rooms.
Yeah.
I think it was like 59 hotel rooms. We had 57 of them booked through the wedding block. Super nice place. I would highly recommend staying there. The
They have
Catalina rooms are really
two
cool.
different pool areas, so that's kind of cool too. You can kind of.
Yeah, they have 2 pools. One's an infinity pool, gorgeous. One's a little bit older. They went through a remodel in the last couple of years, probably about 3 years ago, right before we got married.
It's pretty.
It's awesome. I would highly recommend it. They do like horseback riding there and all that kind of stuff. So it's really nice.
Oh yeah, they have literally horseback riding available on the property, and they do they staff what's the word, person who leads you,
Cowboy.
cowgirl.
It
was a cow person. I don't know. There was no cows involved though,
Yeah.
so it's
The day that we were supposed to go
they
for a
staff
ride.
What
Yeah,
is that word? The person who leads the horse parade.
A ranch hand? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Somebody who gives a tour on the horseback riding. The day we were supposed to go, there was raining up in the mountains, so we didn't do it because one of the things you have to be very conscious about is like flash floods and stuff coming through the washes that can actually like kill people. So because of that, we didn't actually end up going on.
No. That happened because we toured wedding venues in July, so that was why we didn't do that.
No,
Because we were gonna go the horseback riding in July, and then.
I'm talking about a different time, but.
Oh, okay, sorry.
We were gonna go with your cousin and aunt and stuff.
Okay.
But
yeah, water, Tucson, tricky stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I would totally go to Hacienda. Like, if we're not staying with her family when we go to Tucson, Hacienda del Sol is far and away the place I would stay at. It's magical.
If that's
and as a botanic garden and a phenomenal restaurant.
I have a runner-up hotel recommendation if that one happens to be booked, because it does get booked up really quickly.
Yeah. There's not a lot of rooms.
Yeah. Lowe's Ventana Canyon Resort is also really, really pretty.
It's super close too. I mean, they're like next to each other.
No,
they're
Hacienda del Sol is next to the Westin
Paloma del
La
Sol.
Paloma.
La
No,
Paloma.
Westin La Paloma.
That one
is next to Hacienda del Sol.
That's what I'm thinking.
My recommendation, and the Westin's great too.
The Lowe's is very nice.
But the Lowe's Ventana Canyon.
We almost chose that as
lovely.
The place to get married. It was.
So
stunning.
that's our recommendations.
Alrighty.
Go tune into the Visit Tucson website for more.
So Gal Van Gals is asking Megan Morris how's Kentucky right now because they have to drive through tomorrow. And we will find out the answer soon. Nick Peterson is telling Mo, it will be, I'm assuming, emotional. Yeah, I'm not one to get emotional, but it will definitely be moving when I get there. I found my family home in County Cork. My direct family line is from the home. It was in 1851.
Hopefully the emotions are like excitement.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean like tears are going to be shed, but just like you get the jitters of excitement for being there too.
And Nick's letting us know that his drive to the East Coast is not until August 7th, so it's not tonight.
Okay.
It's good to know. Wow, are we that far behind?
We are. Look, you can tell we're like...
Yeah, stop. No.
I stopped.
All right, so Eric Brown, I love the yellow bridge in Pittsburgh next to the stadiums. Cool. OBW is Overwater Bungalow in Bora Bora.
Oh, that's not the Outer Banks.
I was like, OBX? I don't know.
We gotta get up on these acronyms.
Yeah.
And then Ronnie Dove says, gotta get a sandwich from Permiti Brothers when you go to Pittsburgh.
Cool.
I'm actually jotting that down because you never know if we're going to Pittsburgh.
Thomas Reiser is saying the best side of Detroit is Windsor. Just leave the country. It is funny, like, driving through Detroit, though, and you see, like, to Canada. You know, it's, like, right there.
Derek has had to go to Detroit a lot for work over the past 2 years, and I never accompanied.
I was going there, like, almost
weekly?
Once a week.
Yeah.
But it was funny until January of 2019. I had never actually been into the city of Detroit, not until I actually went for like the Detroit Auto Show. But I had been like all around the suburbs, basically, because that's where all the companies are. So
humble brag.
That's the weirdest brag ever. That is the most humble brag you could ever possibly do. So Galvin and Gals, we are going to rent a house in 4x4 area of OBX. Don't have anything yet for Charleston or Savannah, but if we buy an RV, that may change. Yeah. Galvin and Gals, I am still excited for your RV series to come out.
Yeah,
I'm
we are
very looking forward to that.
For that.
We've been like looking up RVs, like it's like our like guilty pleasure now is to like watch like RV like demos, and we're like, yeah, it seems nice.
Yeah.
But then, like, something that's too big, like the massive ones, we're like, it's
so
too
we
much.
reached out to Derek's cousin in Indiana who has an RV, and we forgot before we reached out to her how big
Massive.
her RV is, because she has 4 sons and
Yeah.
like several pets, and like her husband drives the thing, and she's like,
Her husband makes engines for monster trucks.
Yeah.
Like, he's like a dude. Like,
because we've never seen it, we've only seen photos. So we were like, "Hey, what's RVing like?" And she's like,
we love it.
"Not my RV." Like,
She's like, it's great, but it's like too, like, she's like, I can't drive it,
Yeah.
but, you know, her husband, she's like, he can do it very well.
And then we saw photos, and it is
I forgot,
enormous.
I'm like, oh, it's the width of a house.
Yeah.
It's massive. And
it's like larger than most New York City apartments.
Yeah,
is this RV.
We were looking at it, we're like, oh, there's like a dining room and bedrooms, and like it's awesome. I was like, yeah, this would be how I'd want to travel, I guess, in an RV, but I would never feel comfortable driving this.
So then she's like, if you want to come down and like give it a test drive anytime. And
I'm like,
and we're
no.
like, I don't think we're
I don't think
capable.
I'm equipped for that.
Yeah, I don't think we have the license or.
Yeah. I'm like, well, what can I drive
But we've
without
been
getting
invited
a
to drive a massively large RV down an Indiana back road.
I think the way she put it, which was really funny to me, she's like, to see if you're ready for that much machine. So I'm like, I can tell you now I'm not.
No,
but
never will be.
Sure, I'll come down and take a look. Okay, so Alan A is telling Megan that the one thing about Tucson in July, August is that their monsoon season.
Oh, so
he
already.
So be prepared for thunderstorms. Lots of folks like them.
He already, gave her that warning. That's good.
It seems like he's telling them some people actually like monsoon season because it's kind of interesting.
People who like photography love monsoon season because oftentimes the sunsets after the rainstorms are just next level stunning because of like the clouds and everything like that. And like the air has been cleared of all the dust and stuff.
We're gonna go down in monsoon season.
I mean, we'll see.
Why not?
But monsoon season is very dangerous to drive in, so.
Well, because all the washes and stuff go over the
like
roads.
Tucson just doesn't have drainage like a lot of other types of places do.
Nick Peterson, I've been to Pittsburgh. The amount of bridges there is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
Capicco, we're just now getting to Capicco joining, so we're really far behind.
Yeah, we
Hello,
gotta
Sarah. Yes,
speed it
okay.
up. We did talk a lot.
All right, so Thomas Reiser is saying that his favorite region of England is Kent, Canterbury. Canterbury is awesome in Kent.
It is beautiful.
Highly recommend it. You can go see the old like abbey ruins and the what is it? Not the cathedral.
The gardens at people's houses there are just so fun to look at too. I think the English just really know how to make gardens just absolutely beautiful.
The English garden.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's not a cathedral. What's the like head of the Anglican church that's in Canterbury?
The cathedral.
It's not called a cathedral. It's
I thought it was. I don't know where my phone is, so I can't look it up.
Can't think of what it is, but no, it really is. It's really cool. You can go down and you can see like the catacomb type area that they have. Like it's stunning. And you can go on a punting tour at Canterbury, and you can go around like the little like canals and stuff that they have, and that's a really cool part of the country. Eric Brown is saying that downtown Detroit has the best steakhouse ever. I had dinner there like 4 years ago for my birthday. Joe Muir's.
We'll have to try it.
I will try it.
After living in New York City for a while, which has good steakhouses.
They have amazing steakhouses.
I feel like I can safely say that the Midwest has better steak, though. Like, just across the board, I feel like the beef in the Midwest is just better.
So what I will say, in Chicago, yeah, beef is awesome. I mean, beef is king here, right? I mean, beef is
We're
what
closer
built...
to the cow.
Is what built Chicago. I mean, if you look at the history of Chicago,
true.
like, Chicago was built because they discovered this thing called refrigeration, and they made refrigerated carts in, like, trains, and so they started shipping beef from, like, Texas and all over the country to Chicago for, like, the slaughterhouses, and then it was, like, distributed out. So always had, like, phenomenal beef here in Chicago. In fact, I think that's... I'm like having a lot of brain. Upton Sinclair wrote a book about the bad state of slaughterhouses and got a lot of like things passed afterwards. I can't think of the name of it.
Gibson's
Slaughterhouse
Steakhouse
or something like that,
be,
maybe.
Well, we actually have been, so I don't know why I say it's supposed to be. It's amazing.
It's really good. Dude, go to Gibson's. Gibson's is awesome. You got to go to like the original Gibson's in the crude name is the Viagra Triangle because it has fun people watching for older men with younger women. But it's a fun area and like really good bars. And then Gibson's specifically has
I think
awesome
you're supposed
steak.
to say the Gold Coast.
It's the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
My bad.
Part of Chicago, not.
But
what
good people watching, and it's a lot of fun. So you go there and it's like awesome steaks and stuff. And we had started out having like cocktails at a bar nearby, so we rolled in kind of hot, and we ordered like appetizers and like massive steaks. I think I got like the Chicago cut steak there, which is like this massive like bone-in ribeye or something like that. We got bottles of wine, and then we ordered dessert, and the dessert comes and it's like this tall. It's insane.
Yeah.
So good though. But I will say about New York, their whole style is it's the bread game, which is like like every place has some other like shtick on like what the free bread looks like. And my favorite is probably BLT steak in New York, and they do like these popovers, which come they're like massive, but they're like there's nothing on the inside. So you like break them open, and it's like got like cheese and stuff. It's delicious.
So Nick D says the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco is my vote for prettiest museum in the U.S.
We've never been.
It's
supposed to be pretty though.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures.
Also top contenders. The Art Institute of Chicago is really pretty. What's the place called in the north part of Manhattan that they brought over all of those abbeys from Europe?
The Cloisters.
The Cloisters, thank you. So the Cloisters is an offshoot of the Met, which is also beautiful. But the Cloisters has like a lot of European art in it, and the backstory is that a bunch of wealthy New Yorkers literally like commissioned like pieces of old abbeys in Europe to just be kind of like scooped up in Europe and then transported to Manhattan and put and assembled into a museum. So it's really a cool building.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're in New York and you're looking for a very different experience, go to the Cloisters. It's really far up there. I mean, it's the northern tip of Manhattan, basically. But it kind of transports you out.
Which means it's a day trip because it's like
it's like it's out there.
It's hard to get to.
Like you're on the subway going north for a while.
Yeah.
And once you get up there, you then have to like walk a little bit. So like be prepared for a walk. But that's really cool. And what I used to say is like, hey, you want to go to Europe and not leave? Like, let's go to the Cloisters. Like, it's really cool. And like, you walk through and they have these really cool gardens that are set up like monastic gardens would have been, with the types of like plants and stuff that you would find in Europe. So there's a lot of like medicinal herbs and things like that. So it's pretty cool. I highly recommend it. And again, they took a bunch of like priories and like these old buildings that were dilapidated in Europe. Like there's one that we were at, and the story was that it had been used for the past like 200 years or something like that as like a cow pasture or something like it was the place where like they put the sheep in or something like that over winter, and it's this like beautiful like stunning
like stained glass windows.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh my god, okay, so I see why they were able to like take it and bring it here. It's not that they were like stealing culture necessarily from Europe, it's that they were like saving it almost. So that was pretty cool. Now there's probably some controversies there, but whatever. It's similar actually in the Met. If you go to the Met, one of the really cool places that I really like is there's in part of the Egyptian exhibit in the Met is there's like a temple, like an Egyptian temple. And what's cool about that is that they kind of saved it from the Egyptian government was building a dam and they were going to flood the whole area as part of the dam project. And so they came in and they took stone by stone this like Egyptian tomb, like temple thing, and they transported it to the Met because it was going to be buried in water. So it's pretty cool.
So Lori Sims says, that's okay. I always buy clothes when in Europe or Mexico. It was so cold I had to buy a jacket, pants, etc. in France and Vienna and Prague. Yeah, it's so hard to pack like perfectly sometimes. I've had to buy hats and like gloves and stuff places. And it's just always nice to have those when you get back, I suppose, too.
Alex Capico is letting us know that it was always fun visiting us when they lived in New York.
It was fun to have you.
Hey, Alex.
It'd be really fun to visit us here in Chicago, too. But
come on out, bud. Once it's safe.
But I know your parents live here, so.
Thor Avenger. Santa Monica is great. I agree. Santa Monica is fantastic. That's like whenever we go to LA, that's the part of town that I like to stay in.
Derek loves Marvel things, though, so I can just say right now he's loving that Thor Avenger is on this chat.
I do like all things Marvel. Mo is letting us know, being born in Kuwait, I can handle hot temperatures. Temps go up to 131 degrees Fahrenheit, so
That's
Malaysia
crazy.
wasn't that bad, just a little too humid.
He's like,
Yeah.
He's like, this is normal.
Yeah, no, I mean...
You have friends from Kuwait, right? At least you had a coworker.
Yeah, no, I have some former coworkers from Kuwait. Kuwait, Qatar, Dubai, different areas.
Yeah.
Megan Morris is saying, coats are my favorite clothing item to buy in Europe. So much better options than the U.S. Don't give her ideas.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Megan Morris.
So we bought...
Because I always love shopping. I say this a lot, but I love shopping in France for clothes because the sleeve length is shorter. You like literally, I'll hold up my shirts from Paris next to like my long sleeve shirts from America, and the sleeve length in America is at least an inch longer usually. So for me, being 5'1", shopping in Paris works out in terms of tailoring or avoiding a tailor.
Real quick, Michelle Tessier, welcome.
Michelle. Awesome to have you.
We're not quite to you in the list, but I saw that you joined, and so hi. I will say I wore a jacket today that I bought on vacation. I wore my black leather jacket that we bought in Argentina.
Oh yeah,
So we did like the whole custom.
We purposefully
jackets.
planned to do that though.
So I was wearing like a beat up old leather jacket for years. Like
It was ugly.
I got it in high school, and I wore it through college, and I was still wearing it in New York, like throughout my career. Like not to work, but like I'd wear it out and about and stuff. It was this beat up brown leather jacket, and Eliz was always like, "You need to get rid of that thing." I'm like, "Well, I'll get rid of it when we go to Argentina, and we get our custom leather jackets." So when we went on our honeymoon, we got custom leather jackets so that I could then I guess get rid of it.
Thomas Reiser said that Isaac Walton Inn is popular among rail fans, so I'll need to figure out where that is.
Very cool.
If that's in the UK or if it's in the US.
Yeah, so Bonnie is letting us know that Courmayeur, Italy, Italian side of Mont Blanc, is so pretty. But on the French side of that lake, Annecy and Chamonix, France is gorgeous too. I mean, don't get us started.
Hi,
about
Scorpio
Europe.
Sue. Sorry, we just saw that you joined.
Scorpio Sue!
Yay!
What's up? But yeah, Italy is awesome. And Thor is saying Italy is the most prettiest country to travel to. I mean, Italy's pretty great. And actually, so Mark...
It's definitely very pretty.
So Mark got the question last night in their stream about, like, if you could only go to, like, one country to, like, visit for the rest of your life, what would it be? And...
Did he? Did I miss that? I missed it.
She was drunk. No, I'm
I
just
was
kidding.
not drunk, actually. I was very attentive to the chat.
Yeah, she was really in the chat. But yeah, no, so one of the questions was about, like, if you could only go to one place. And so, like, where my mind always goes to is which place has, like, the most, like, UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And, like, the biggest ones are, like, the UK, Italy, and Spain. Like, those have some, like, the highest density of just phenomenal places to go to. But Mark came up with the same idea I came up with because I was, like, typing it when he said it. I was like, ah! And it was the Roman Empire. Just get them all, you know? It's like, whatever. I guess if you wanted to go, like, more... You mentioned the Mongolian Empire. That would be interesting. If you don't like the UK, you could say the Napoleonic Empire. I don't know. But there's a lot of cool... You're going the wrong direction.
It's okay. Don't worry. Just keep talking.
Okay. But yeah, no. So, like, I don't know. Italy would definitely be at, like, the top of my list, though. Places like go and do, like, long-term travel. Because that's, like, our dream, right? Is, like, one day, like, be able to go and, like, travel for, like, very, very long extended periods of time. And I do think that, you know, Italy would be at the top of my list. Because there's just so much to see and do there.
So, we have... Mark Walters' answer about prettiest places, which is, for him, Amalfi Coast, which is in Italy,
Yeah.
any small village in the UK, winding country road with trees in fall in the U.S. Coast of Nicaragua, which Nicaragua is on our list for sure. Kyoto.
A places to go to. We've never been.
Yeah. In Japan, the Old Town. Seeing stars and aurora borealis in the backwoods of Scandinavia. Those are all such great top choices. I love that.
Scorpio Sue is going to plug Chicago.
So
it is gorgeous.
I'm
it
from
really
Chicago,
is nice.
and I would not say
Chicago.
it's the prettiest. Like, it's pretty.
No. If you're looking for city skylines, Chicago has
True.
one of the prettiest skylines.
And if you're into
phenomenal architecture.
However, I would say it's one of the prettiest cities in the U.S. I would not say, but I guess I'm partial. You're like back to being subjective.
Yeah.
And I guess the fact that I grew up here, I probably take it for granted a little bit more. But like, I just wouldn't have pegged it as kind of like that top destination for me.
I don't know. Like, we were driving, like, today when we were driving to Northwest Indiana, like, from where we are, because we're a little bit north of the city, we're like northwest or whatever the city, and driving through the city, you get that, like, skyline with, like, the Sears Tower and all that kind of stuff, and it's just, it really is something to see. And I do agree, coming in over the lake,
yeah,
that view is really cool. If you're coming in over the lake, like, north of the city, you just see it all there with, like, Navy Pier coming out of the water. It's awesome.
Maybe because I grew up in Chicago, that's why I love mountains so much, because there are none here.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like, it's so zen to see a mountain.
Yeah.
But I'm sure for a lot of people, it's just so cool to see the Great Lakes and stuff like that. And it's still very cool for me. It's just, I don't know, it feels less rare.
That said, I mean, if you want to think about, like, like, I love flying in and, like, lucking out and having that window seat that actually gives, like, that view of the city when you're coming in and you get to see, like, the whole thing spread out. I'm always, like, trying to Google and figure out what side of the plane to sit on and trying to, like, figure it out whenever I'm going into a new city, because I want to get shots of the city from above if at all possible. And, like, Manhattan, for me, is, like, one of the best cities to fly into and actually, like, get to see everything, because on a super clear day you get awesome shots of, like, the Statue of Liberty and Freedom Tower and all. It's awesome.
Grand Canyon and Smoky Mountains are pretty, according to Walter's World.
Yep.
And West Lafayette, Indiana. So he definitely said that because that's where Purdue is, which is IU's biggest rival. That is false information.
I've been to West Lafayette. No, it's not the prettiest place.
If it were pretty, I would literally tell you all, like, sucky school but great place.
No, it's not a sucky school. It's a good school.
It's actually a really good
Phenomenal engineering
Purdue
program.
is great. Derek's best friend from high school went to Purdue. We can't knock it too much.
I have a Purdue sweatshirt that is actually super comfortable.
I feel like people want us to be very, like, combative with the Big Ten schools, and we're not. And I think it's because IU's sports were just not good when we were there. So, like, we just had fun. We enjoyed the Big Ten experience. We had fun. Sometimes we'd win. Sometimes we'd lose.
My whole thing in my career, I've met a lot of people from, like, Ivy Leagues and stuff like that I've worked with, and so for me, I just enjoy seeing state school people like, do very well and be very successful. True. So for me, I'm like, dude, you're from Purdue, like, high five, like, we're both from Indiana, like, let's just, like,
or even, like, Notre Dame,
kill it.
Which is Notre Dame University.
Yeah.
I'm just happy. Like, we went to school in Indiana. Like,
yeah.
We were in Indiana. But yeah, maybe you guys want us to be a little bit more combative, but we're not. But to be clear, there's not a lot to see in West Lafayette. Unfortunately.
So, Katie Smith is saying at Horseshoe Bend, I had to walk away after 10 minutes because I had such anxiety that people would fall off. They were so close to the edge.
So she had the same type of anxiety that I was feeling at Dead Horse Point.
I did not. I did not come close to the. I was very far away from the edge.
He was very far.
Just to be clear, I was always.
But I love him so
hyper
much.
aware of these things. Actually, the person who scared me the most was her on our honeymoon when we were in Bariloche. We're at one point where we're like, I'm like, listen, like, I was like on one like edge and she was on another, and I was trying to take a picture of her, and I'm like, if you can go a little bit more to the left, but only if you feel safe. I'm like. Only if you feel safe. Do not do this if you feel it all unsafe. I was like freaking out.
I'm
like,
so not.
I had watched so many stories about like somebody like going over the edge and stuff. I'm like, you're good. All right, we're fine.
And
I'll
people
take a
are talking
picture.
about Grand Canyon, where at least where we're at right now, like Walter's World and Eric Brown and stuff. And people take too many risks at the Grand Canyon every year. And I won't get much further into it, but selfies are something to be careful of there.
Yeah, you always have to be careful with selfies.
There and many places too. But just trying to bring it back to the chat.
Mark is saying that Jocelyn says the sunrise in Tucson is gorgeous.
Yeah,
It really is.
Sunrise
really
and sunset in Tucson are just, unbeatable.
Every day that we were in Tucson for our wedding, I was waking up for the sunrise.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I couldn't sleep. So excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Eric Brown loves Montreal and Toronto more, but Vancouver was definitely prettier. I'm sorry.
You keep skipping people.
Nick D says, I went to Kyoto in high school and it seemed futuristic then. Can only imagine what it's like now.
Futuristic.
I thought
That's
Kyoto was more
because,
traditional. So interesting.
Mark was saying that he loved the old town, so I'd love to see the contrast.
He's saying there was traditional stuff too, but coming into the city at night was neat.
Awesome.
That's cool. Okay, Scorpio Sue! The coast of California is beautiful. We saw a whale and our calf swimming the coast near Corona del Mar. Once in a lifetime
That's
thing.
incredible.
That's awesome.
We did a whale watching tour in Puget Sound the first time we went to Seattle, and we saw like a few humpback whales, but I haven't seen too many other whales in my life. It's really it's so memorable when you do.
All right, Lori Sims is saying there was a pod of over 1,000 dolphins off the coast of Southern California a few days ago. That's insane. That's awesome. I would go look at that. That'd be fun.
Also,
Get a drone over
clearly
that?
dolphins
So
don't need
cool.
to social distance right now.
Okay.
We do.
Thomas Reiser, LA is same way about rain on freeways as Arizona to be avoided. Yeah, so people don't. Yeah, it doesn't rain a lot, so people just don't know how to
My
drive.
guess is LA is similar in that there's not drains. So here in the Midwest, because there's a lot of water, and we're at lower elevations and stuff, we have drains for when it rains, and it gets pumped underground and stuff. And in Tucson, they don't. They have natural drains that they call washes, and it basically during monsoon season creates these rivers that you literally have to drive through. And I have successfully and unsuccessfully driven through those before, and it can be very scary. And also, hikers need to be very mindful about the rain because there can be flash floods, like Derek was saying.
Yep. So Alan is letting Walter's World know that he's very jealous of Jocelyn because she's lived in two of his favorite cities, Tucson and Savannah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Jocelyn's lived everywhere. But yeah, Tucson and Savannah are her top ones.
Thomas Reiser got my appointment at Scalpatorium arranged.
I don't know what that is. It actually
that for
sounds a little
haircuts?
scary. Yeah.
Is that what you call the barber shop? I don't know. Interesting. Nick Peterson, I haven't kissed the Blarney Stone, Eliz. I have only been to Dublin. I haven't been able to make it outside of the capital just yet. That was on deck for my next trip.
Okay, well, you'll have to do it next year, 2021. Blarney Stones.
Bonnie has let us know that Victoria on Vancouver Island, Canada is pretty. Have you been to Tofino on Vancouver Island? Add it to one of the prettiest places. Cathedral Grove on Vancouver Island is a must-see.
We would love to go back to Vancouver Island. We went to Victoria and to Butchart Gardens there. And
Butchart was really cool.
Loved every single minute of it, and we're dying to go back. So, I Did we did like a full day tour, right? But we didn't stay overnight there.
Yeah, we like went there and back.
Okay. I would definitely recommend to anybody on this chat stay overnight in Victoria so you can like better explore Vancouver Island and stuff.
Yeah, I will say that's like one of the only times I've ever actually paid to stay at the Four Seasons in Vancouver. We stayed at the Four Seasons while we were there.
It was definitely a business hotel.
We did like 3 nights. You got like the 4th free or something like that, and we're like, we're like making money on that. No, we weren't making money. But it was pretty cool.
It was
like,
super affordable. Like obviously,
nice.
The Four Seasons in New York, for example, is always like $700 a night, and for some reason in Vancouver we got it for like $215 a night. So we were like, let's do it.
Yeah, which was great. And Thomas Reiser is saying, that was the haircut. Scalp for him. He says he gets scalped whenever he goes to get a haircut.
Yeah,
just take it all off.
Sounds terrifying. Really hope you enjoy it.
I need to get a haircut because, I mean, look at that. I mean, it's so long. I mean,
you guys are slowly but surely watching Derek's hair grow out throughout all these live streams.
You can just see it. I've got bangs.
We decided that he looks like, when he does his bangs that way, that he looks like the brother in Wedding Crashers, the like scary goth one. Okay, anyway.
Hi.
So bad. Okay.
Can we erase that from the internet? Can that not be on the internet?
That's going to come back and haunt you someday.
Oh God! Nobody took a screenshot.
You just
okay.
But it's going back on the replay.
We're not gonna post this one. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll edit it out.
Just kidding. I've got long hair right now, guys. It's okay.
All right. So.
Vancouver.
Wait, yeah.
No, wait. Thumbs up, guys! Thank you, Gallivanting Gals. If you haven't already done it, leave us a thumbs up.
Thumbs ups.
If you don't already
which are
subscribe.
the likes on YouTube. Yeah.
Come subscribe.
Those are really helpful for the channel, keeping this going. So the more thumbs up we can get, the better. So thank you, Gallivanting Gals, for shouting that out.
Nick D has been to Gen Cons in Milwaukee and Indy. So I
Nick
will
D
say,
and Derek are going to become friends.
Very cool. So Gen Con's cool because it's like board games and stuff too, which is kind of neat. My little brother,
that's quarantine cool for sure.
So my little brother's like really into some of this stuff, and we were talking about trying to get to it this summer, which is not going to happen now. But yeah, I mean, Gen Con's huge. You talk to people in Indianapolis, and there's like 2 big weekends that people will rent out their houses and make a ton of money, actually. And one of them is obviously the Indy 500, and the other one is Gen Con. Those are the 2 times when you can get like massive amounts of money for your house if you live like close to the center. So, Walter's World. Mark is telling us that he took his students to the Stella Artois Brewery, and they had a fun time. They had fun.
Yeah, I bet.
Did we go back in time?
No, I just went forward a little because there was a lot of people saying hi to...
Oh, yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I read the Megan Morris. If Derek goes to Lululemon,
we already answered that one.
Brewery.
I mean, I go to the occasional brewery. It just so happens that we haven't gone together, really.
Yeah, so I got new Warby Parker glasses because I had to use my, you get like either like contacts or like glasses each year, and I'm like years since I got my last pair of glasses.
He hasn't gotten glasses, I think, since like 2013.
It's been a while. My prescription's like the same. So, got a pair. Look a little bit more stylish now than I used to, I guess. And yeah, this one has like the blue lenses or whatever that helps like block some of the light that comes through the screens. So it's a little bit better for your circadian rhythm and also a little bit less harsh on the eyes. Yeah. So Lori Sim says the best beer tour I was on was in Pilsner, Czech, outside of Prague. That'd be so cool. We're doing it.
Yeah. By the way, they were talking about Lake Geneva in Switzerland.
I know, I already talked about that.
Cool. And we already talked about Jocelyn loving C9. Oh, somebody named
Byron Aubrey. Welcome. Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
Sorry that we're super behind.
Welcome.
But really awesome to have you.
Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
The Guinness Brewery was a lot of fun when I went, I assume is what they meant. I enjoyed sitting at the Gravity Bar and watching the sunset over Dublin. And
that would be awesome.
I had the exact same experience. And I don't even drink beer, but it was super pretty just to see the entire city from there.
Jocelyn 100% agrees.
And I did have a sip of Guinness because, you You have to.
Yeah, so similar to that, but in Amsterdam, it's not a brewery. I would say go to Edam Tower, which is Amsterdam Tower. It's on the other side of the water, so you go to the Amsterdam Central Station, and they have ferries there, and you just take it across to the other side of the whatever that is, lake, sound, whatever. And they have a few museums. They have like a museum of film over there and a few other things to see. But you go there and you check out. They've got a tower that you can go up to, and it's a cool elevator ride. They do it's like a light show and music and stuff. Actually, if you go to my Instagram account and you go to my Amsterdam sticker thing for my stories, you can see the elevator ride up and stuff. And it's actually a really cool view over the city of Amsterdam. And when you get the ticket, you get 2 free drinks and stuff like that. So you can have some fun.
Thomas Reiser said go Illini, and I can't diss the Illini. My parents met at U of I, so.
And a lot of her family went there.
I exist because of U of I, so I definitely cannot. I agree with
Bonnie
you.
is agreeing that Lake Constance is really pretty.
Yeah.
And if you go to Friedrichshafen, they have a Zeppelin museum, which is a thing. Zeppelins didn't quite take off the way everybody hoped.
Megan Morris says, I have been warned about Tucson in July. And she also said, take my advice and don't do New Orleans in July, which that was really important advice to receive from all you guys. A few weeks ago, I think, we talked about that. Because we hadn't really thought that through. And we were definitely looking at New Orleans for deep summertime. So
I don't know when things opened up. Gallivanting Gals, sorry Eliz, yours is next Wednesday. So yes, Means Travel interview next Wednesday. Lori Sims, hit the like button. Thank you.
Lori. So nice of you.
Eric Brown. It's hot here now, and over the next month or two, it will only get worse. Yes.
We were joking today because there was literally no traffic on the road. We were like, we should just drive to the south from here. It should only take another, 3 hours?
It was so open.
It was so open.
I legitimately did not hit the brake. I did not hit my brakes until we got to, toll roads. When I had to, and that was only because I had to slow down to go through the toll thing and then keep going.
So basically,
hit the brake twice.
I bet if we drove from Chicago to Louisiana to where Eric Brown is, it would take half the time that it usually would. It's crazy.
We have friends
nobody's on the road right now, which nobody should be on the road, and let's be clear about that. But because we hadn't left our house in 2 months, we were just like, "Whoa,
this is great."
What?
Yeah, we're let's, we've got friends that just moved to Atlanta. Can we just go to Atlanta? That'd be great. Some of our best friends just moved to Atlanta. We love them, and we definitely want to get down and see them at some point this coming year, in the next 365 days, if at all possible.
Yeah. And Eric Brown says he likes Target too, so perfect. And Gallivanting Gal says C9 more for the travel budget. Totally. I actually have one black C9 V-neck that I take almost everywhere that I go because it dries so fast and it can easily be sink washed. Yeah. So that's an unsung hero for travelers is the white and black V-neck t-shirts or crew neck t-shirts that just, they cost $9.99 and they dry instantly.
Yeah, I think that's the brand that I have for my gray workout shirts. Yeah, I just bought a 10-pack or whatever, and then I haven't bought anything since. Galvan and Gal, C9 equals more for the travel budget.
That's what I just said, yeah.
Oh, okay. Ventana Canyon
kicks
booty. Yes. Ventana Canyon is a state park in Tucson, Arizona.
No, that's the hotel.
Oh, the hotel. I was thinking
it's right next to Sabino Canyon.
Sabino Canyon. That's what I was thinking
of. Which is the state park.
Sabino Canyon is nice, and Ventana Canyon is a very nice hotel.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
Ventana Canyon is named that because there is a small canyon on its grounds called Ventana Canyon, and there's hiking trails just within its grounds itself. I know we talked about it earlier, but it's a beautiful hotel.
Nick is pointing out that Target is big up there because they were based in Minneapolis.
Yeah. Yeah, if Nick didn't like Target, that'd be weird.
Nick is laughing at Thomas Reiser's joke about Windsor being the best side of Detroit. Well, that's where all the casinos are, though. They're over in like the Canadian side, over in Windsor. It's kind of cool. The fact that Lowe's was only $97 per night and the Hacienda del Sol was $150 should have been a bigger clue for me not to do Tucson in July. LOL.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough. So Gallivanting Gals is letting us know that the RV series is starting on the 31st. I'm excited.
We'll be your number one fans for that.
Bonnie is saying, oh no, please do not judge Canada by Windsor. Windsor, by the way, is where all the underage Midwestern kids go to drink.
Literally, Megan just said that. LOL, Windsor is just a spot for Americans to go drink at 19.
Yes. Bingo. Yes. From IU as well. Tracy drove a 38-foot towing a Jeep. If she can do it, you can do it. The gauntlet has been thrown.
I'm sure I could do it. It's probably just more space than Derek and I need, too.
I don't know. I mean, that sounds great.
I mean, it would be great. Like, more space is great. It's just, it's harder to, like, find parking and stuff, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing. Is, like, we don't have a Jeep, right? And, so, like, we have a fairly heavy car.
And we keep being like, should we trade our car in for a Jeep? And then we're like, wait a minute. Corona should not last, like, as long as our car. Hopefully. Knock on wood.
Yeah. So, all of that aside, you know, because, like, there's a part of me that, like, looks at Jeeps, and every time I see a Jeep, I do think, like, freedom. Like, that'd be cool. Like, get a Jeep and, like, go into the mountains and have a blast. Like, that'd be a good time.
Also, now that Derek has gone down the hashtag van life part of YouTube, every time we see a van in the city, like a Sprinter van or just any sort of work van, Derek turns to me and he goes,
do you think they live in that? No, I swear, I can't see a van without being like, unless it has like an Amazon logo, I'm like,
bye, Gallivanting
do you
Gals.
think those people live in there? Bye, Gallivanting Gals. Thanks for stopping by.
He's like literally every single time there's some sort of van.
Well,
thinks that it must be in stealth mode. Okay.
To be fair, we do always look and we're like, did that look like a hipster? Like, could that be somebody who might live in this van? I don't know. Like, if they're wearing like a beanie, we're like, maybe.
They probably live in that.
They have like a beard and like a man bun, probably. But you know, that's my goal.
Everybody has a beard and man bun right now. It's
gonna grow out my beard.
It's quarantine.
And I'm working on my man bun right now. So, Nick Peterson at Walter's World. It's big in both cities, but the actual HQ is in Minneapolis, Target. They also have a 2-story Target in downtown nearby. The second 2-story Target I know of, the other is in Chicago.
I believe that's the one on State Street in Chicago, but there is a really, really large one that we like to go to in Old Town here.
Mark Walters is saying we will have a 2-story Target in Champaign next month. Boom!
Moving on up.
Illinois for the win. Lori Sims, California has a number of 2-story Targets.
That's like a dream come true for me to like go to a brand new Target on opening day.
Why?
That would just be so great.
She owns Target stock.
I do.
She's like, oh my god, it's doing so well.
This is not a stock tips.
But she was like the other day. She's like, oh my god, my Target stock is doing so well.
I felt genuinely bad when I like actually did a stock tips thing about like let's all go buy Schwinn stock.
Blaine, bye, Blaine. By the way, if you actually did that, you would have made a ton of money.
If you had listened to me at whatever live stream I said, go buy stock in Schwinn bicycles. Apparently, it was up 20% yesterday.
Yeah, she told me, she's like, oh my god, it went up. I'm like,
this is not a hot stock tips live stream.
No,
Do not
at all.
I have 0 qualifications. Do not follow my stock tips.
We're just like, what's happening right now? Yeah. What might happen? Like, no, we're not doing that. Okay. Blaine, I made it back. Went over to our RV for a minute, getting the travel itch. LOL.
Yeah.
Yep. But I think you've already left since you said that, so bye. Thanks for coming.
Hi, bye.
So, Mache just finished up dinner. Gonna kick back and have a chat. Welcome.
Thomas Reiser has friends outside of Canterbury in Kent.
Oh, very cool.
It's such a pretty place. We went in summer 2018. Nick says, yeah.
Okay, Blaine is saying you can get elk and bison out in the Midwest and Western states. You can. And actually, if you go to there's a steakhouse that is owned by, I think, John Malone or something like that, called Ted's Montana Grill or something like that. And it's one of the, basically, it's owned by Malone. Malone also owns like the largest herds of bison in the U.S. So he has this like steakhouse that he then like feeds the bison through and stuff. You can go get like bison burgers and steaks. It's pretty good.
By the way, Thomas Reiser confirmed that it is Canterbury Cathedral.
Oh.
So.
That was called something else.
Yeah, no.
That's fine. Tucson, late October, early November is great. Temp is coming down and it's still out of season rates. Could be an alternative time for Megan Morris.
That's a really good time to go. I don't know what Nick D was saying about the jungle.
Sounds like a club.
Okay.
Foom, foom, foom.
Megan Morris is saying bison is so good.
Yeah,
I don't think I've tried it before. I would totally try it. It's just I haven't been anywhere that it's like been in.
So Galvin and Gals is saying the best steak we've ever had was Gordon Ramsay's STK in Vegas, and St. Elmo's is pretty good. St. Elmo's is in Indianapolis. Super good.
Yeah.
Definitely go to it. STK, they have those in New York. They have them in Vegas. It's a really good steakhouse.
Yeah.
Nick Peterson, Manny's Steakhouse in Minneapolis is the best steakhouse up here. Popular with all the famous people. Expensive but really high quality. Yeah, we'll try it out. We'll try Manny's. Why not?
We'll maybe have to make it up to Minneapolis at some point. You've never been, right? To Minneapolis?
No, but Nick D's hilarious. In a half hour, you might see that it's Upton Sinclair's The Jungle. God, we're far behind. We need to catch the heck up.
I also just lost our spot.
Oh, Lord.
Whoops.
Mark Finley's back, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, no,
Welcome back, Mark.
Wait, actually... Okay, sorry. Thomas Reiser said go Illini twice, I think. That's why I was confused.
Okay, whoa.
Team window seat, that's what we are.
Alright, we're gonna go quick, though.
Can you? Because I feel like you're the one that, like, stops and just
sorry,
chats.
I just like to chat,
so
guys. I'm chatty. I'm a chatty Cathy. I don't know why Cathys are so chatty, but I'm one of those. Okay. Alright, we're... Okay. Katie Smith, Walter's World. Would you consider Lisbon a pretty city and a nice place to live as an expat? Katie, you really want to move abroad. I've noticed that over the last few weeks. I think why
not? Me too.
Nick Peterson, Isaac Walton in Essex, Montana. It's a railroad-themed hotel and an old railroad hotel that was built in 1939. Very cool.
Oh, nice.
Walter's World. I love how you two are so sweet when the feed is going the wrong way. But Jocelyn wants you to know that Eliz is way nicer than her.
We're trying to not, like...
I just pick her nose.
Yeah.
Katie Smith, yes, Lisbon is a great place to live as an expat. Good to know. Great to hear. Thanks. Okay, Bonnie, Museum Diocneso in Vicenza, Italy. It was really cool. Marble balls. If you're into marble. I like marble. Yeah, sure.
I'm not into marble, but it's not something that I wouldn't have said out loud, like, I'm really into marble.
Why wouldn't you say
It's just something I haven't thought about.
Team window seat. I am totally team window seat. If she gets the window seat, she regrets it pretty quickly because I'm like...
that's false. I love the window seat. I was
taking pictures.
I was the window seat always until Derek bought a camera and became a photographer, basically. And then all of a sudden he became the window seat person, and then we started fighting about it.
Because now I'm just like this.
Yeah, he's really obnoxious about it.
That's what happens.
That's airplanes for us.
That is airplanes for us. If it's a good view. Or I hand her the camera. I'm like, take pictures for me. Okay. Lori Sims always requests a window seat. Alan, actually, the IU campus in Bloomington, Indiana is pretty as campuses go. It is. It's very, very nice.
It is.
Eric Brown, Mark, Lisbon is cheaper than most of the major European cities. Yes, Portugal generally is a very cheap country within Western Europe. I've actually never been to Portugal, but my brother honeymooned there. They loved it. They went to, like all over Portugal and stuff and had a blast. And I've always heard that it's a great place to go to. And we used to watch and I'll make this quick. We used to watch the House Hunters International.
Yep.
And I feel like every time they're in like southern Spain, we're like, why don't we move to southern Spain? They're like, our budget's like $500.
Yeah. There was one House Hunters International
bedrooms.
Yeah,
and we're like, they're not gonna get anything. It's like they got a pool. Like we're like, what the hell?
We're watching from like New York City basically, and watching people move to southern Spain on the Sunshine Coast, and say
the Gold Coast, yeah.
Sunshine Coast. No, whatever. Sorry, Lo siento. But basically, it was like we're not exaggerating. Budget was like $500 a month. And they somehow got a multi-bedroom place.
It was huge. It was awesome.
Like, we could retire now and move there.
Yeah, so Nick D, so Bloomington actually has a phenomenal comedy club that has seen, like, really cool acts come through. I think, like, Eliza Schlesinger's played there.
Yeah.
I think that, like, a ton of really good stand-up has been there. And actually one of our friends has done
There's also
there.
a really good music venue called the Bluebird, which I know is totally a rip-off of Nashville, but,
it's really
like Luke
good.
Bryan played there before he got really big. Like, a lot of artists. A lot of famous artists.
So Nick Peterson, I've only been through Savannah on the Amtrak train. I've never actually been to the city. Yeah, we really want to make it to the city.
Yeah.
Mark Finley, back from a walk. Got a good 2 miles plus in. What did I miss?
You missed us just catching up to you going on a walk.
I will say, Mark, you had a very productive...
They're probably on another walk now. We don't know. We're
on
still
walk number
catching
2.
up.
Okay, Thomas Reiser, check your barbershop about appointments.
Yeah,
we need to check that out.
We should make appointments proactively.
All right, so this is around the time when I was showing my hair, and Blaine is saying, "Oh, that's a screenshot for sure." Don't post that to my Facebook. Okay. Mo is saying you need to let it grow longer. Get a convertible and go on a road trip.
Derek's like wearing one of those
just like hair flowing in the wind.
Silk scarves tied around his chin.
That'd be so good. God, that'd be so good. Actually, so Mo, you'd love this. Our friend who's Persian, back in like college, he always had like shorter hair and stuff. And he went to med school at, was it Cornell? He went to medical school?
Yeah.
Which Cornell's medical school is in New York City and stuff. And he like grew out his hair, and like it was so funny because like I feel like all through college we had known him as like he's kind of goofy and stuff, but now like he had grown out his hair, and we're like, dude, you're like
he's like known to have
Persian now.
Really
like he was
good
like
hair now.
He has like flowing locks. It is quite amazing.
Yeah.
And he now has a convertible. Actually, lives in San Diego, so I'm sure he drives with the
living the dream
with the top down all the time. Nick Peterson, always good whenever you get a chance to do that. Okay, howdy y'all. Mark Finley. Alan A. Atlanta without traffic would be a lot easier to visit. Haha. Yes. Michelle is saying that she stayed at Ventana Canyon in Tucson and it was amazing.
See? Great recos all around. Sounds like the Walters and Michelle have been there. It's a really, really great spot.
Yeah, Bonnie, I didn't actually mean for it to be a terrible pun on Zeppelin's not taking off. But yeah, there is a famous incident. Riga, Latvia has a great use for their old Zeppelin hangars. Largest market in Europe.
No way.
Oh, that's kind of cool. We got to go there.
I've been saying to Derek that I want to go to Riga for several years now.
I'm not stopping us.
I feel like it's just never close to anywhere else that we are going. But we just have to kind of like get over into the The
All right, we're just gonna go to
holiday
Europe for like 10 years.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll see everything. It'll be great.
I'm like,
Heard it here first. I'm just kidding.
we could just go, right? Like,
Yeah, why
it's
not?
not like there's anything stopped.
Yeah.
I'm just totally kidding.
Nick D.
We live in our house. We can't leave it.
Yeah. Brandenburg, Germany has a water park in one of their former Zeppelin hangars, which is pretty neat. That's kind of cool too.
That is cool.
How big are these things? Holy crap. Lori Sims, I follow my stocks daily. That is not good for your mental health during this period.
I do, like, during quarantine, I've opened my mint.com account more often, just to keep on top of that. And I know that all of the people say don't do that, and I still do it.
She does it. I'm just like, oh my
and
God,
for all
stop.
of those who I informed earlier this week, I am the one basically who runs the household finances here.
I'm just like dollar cost average. Like, just invest into the market over time, and it doesn't matter.
I'm sure it surprises everybody that it's me because Derek works in finance, but like from a personal finance
It's
perspective,
actually not uncommon.
I know everything that's happening in this household, and I run it.
Thomas Reiser, lots of Brits have moved to southern Spain. Yeah, the Gold Coast is very popular in the south of Spain, like Malaga and that kind of area. But it's funny, like, when I studied abroad in Spain, you know, coming from the U.S., you know, we have this, like, vision of Brits, which is, like, very posh and polished and hoity-toity and all that kind of stuff. It's funny, when I went to Sevilla, where they always host the Spanish national team versus the English national team, they have a very different view of British people, which is soccer hooligans. Like, that is what they think of when they think of British people. So they think of them as just, like, slovenly drunks who, like, destroy bars, which I was not ready for. I did not know that. So Mark is saying, U of I got some decent things at the Assembly Hall, but not a ton lately.
Yeah. All those like Big Ten schools get really cool traveling acts though, which I like. I think because I did a partnership with Visit Bloomington, Bloomington, last May, and they were having like Trevor Noah come and like different comedians, different really famous different really famous artists and stuff like that. So it's cool when those big schools get the traveling acts.
Yeah, Nick, see you tomorrow on the Superheroes member live
Hi,
stream
Nick
tomorrow.
Peterson.
We're looking
Nick
forward
Peterson,
to that.
right? Not
Yeah, Nick.
Nick D.
Yeah, Nick Peterson. Bonnie is letting us know that if you like beef, Alberta is a place for you. It's our claim to fame, Alberta beef.
Nice.
It's nice.
I feel like I've heard of that.
Mark is saying, long-haired hippie Derek. That is me, bud. But I keep it, put some product in, comb it back.
Yeah. You guys see the pomade, Derek.
Yeah, in the mornings, Eliz is like, oh my God, what's wrong with you?
I can literally like grab him from behind. Here, turn your head. I can like grab him from behind now.
Not into it.
That's not a normal thing. Our long-haired friend in San Diego, he does drive with the top down. I visited him, and though his apartment is only a few blocks from the Amtrak station, he insisted on picking me up in his convertible. That is so Asha.
So
Whatever.
my favorite part of that was like I just remember when like he was still in Detroit and he was like trying to figure out like what car to get, and it was so good. I was just like, dude, you're that guy.
He's actually really, really nice.
He's an awesome dude.
person.
He's a really awesome dude. We love Asha. He's awesome.
And he lived in New York with us. Like, so we went to college with him. He was in Derek's fraternity, and then he lived in New York for several years while Derek and I were there. So very close with him.
Yeah. So Megan Morris, can't wait to see you. Wait, at Walter's World. Can't wait to see you.
Caleb there to party when he's old enough.
Riga. Because he's saying Riga's fun, can't wait. He lived in Vilnius. Yeah. It was a good party. And when Caleb is old enough, take him out there and go party, which would be cool. IU
has been doing better than U of I lately, so that's interesting to hear. I mean, all growing up, at least the business school
Okay.
at U of I was always slightly better than IU. But I know IU's pulled ahead in certain things.
Just
a
to
lot
put
lately.
things straight, I do not have a mullet, but Mark is saying business up front, party in the back. Yes, kind of. But this is not a mullet, not yet. I'm getting there. Katie Smith, have you guys watched any more Parks and Rec? Have you gotten to the Calzones episode? No, but we have gotten to the point where Louis C.K. has made it into the series as the police officer in season 2.
Also, Mark was meaning that they're better getting acts. But that kind of makes sense because IU has a really strong performing arts school compared to U of I. Like the Jacob School is always like top 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the top music programs in the country.
Yeah. When we went, it was number 1. But
So I will
think
say-
it's slipped since then.
Yeah, I will say, Parks and Rec, good show. I love that it's like 20 to 25 minutes long, which is phenomenal. Like we can like watch 1 or 2 while we eat like lunch or something like that. And it's not like a huge time sink. Still haven't gotten to Rob Lowe making it in or any of that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, we haven't.
But we're on season 2, so we're getting there. Big fan.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Well, she
I'm
was
surprised we didn't watch it before.
She was always a huge fan of The Office, so for her it was like, I feel like this. I mean, it's very Office-esque, right? It's like it's the same conceit. Same conceit. Which is that
that's
you
the
have
word.
conceit. Yeah, it's the conceit.
Sure. Okay. Let's go with roll with it. Just keep talking.
CONCEIT. I don't know. Basically, that you have this like small town or like not important group of individuals who are being followed by a camera crew, and so they're like constantly looking at the camera and doing little interviews and stuff like that. It's the same kind of like narrative method as The Office. And being from Indiana, like the whole Pawnee, Indiana thing, like that always hits me pretty right in the feels.
The fact that they describe it as like we're in South Central Indiana on the show, it's just, it hits so close to home in so many ways, because that's like how Bloomington is kind of described and stuff. That's literally, people say that.
Yeah. All right, so Mark is saying...
Thomas Reiser said Illinois is better in information science, and I think Indiana just started that program when we were first in school. Like, I think we went to school
new.
in 2006. I think they started it in 2005, so that doesn't surprise me. I think it's a pretty new program at IU.
Yeah, and they actually just got a brand new like building and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. It's like an all glass type thing in Indiana. They're trying to like really like raise things up and raise the stature of that program. But yeah, Mark, the marketing program at Indiana is better than at Illinois. But you're doing great.
Rankings wise. I would have totally loved to have you as a professor.
We don't have Mark Walters though as a professor, so that is our downfall.
Indiana has buildings.
Wait, what?
I don't know. Now that we've caught up, I feel like I'm gonna react to like instant feedback.
I'm really confused. Okay, Megan Morris. Any millennials out there tried to recommend The Office to their parents? Many seem not to get it because of the lack of a laugh track. Yeah, so my issue.
I know, Alan A. Did you watch The Office? That's my dad.
I wasn't a big fan of The Office personally. I just, every time I watch, like, my thing is, like, for Parks and Rec, like, that fits with my view of how, like, local government probably is. I don't know, like, which is probably offensive for me to say. That's like, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Derek apologizes. He was not serious.
But I'm like, if Michael Scott was my boss, I would punch him in the face. Like, I don't, like...
That's an HR violation.
I would be fired. Like, that, I can't imagine working for a person like that. So, like, for me, it's like, in the bit, like, coming from, like, business and everything, I'm just like, I expect to have respect for my bosses and all that kind of stuff. And, like, that kind of person, I'm like, no way in hell. Like, they're like, how? Parks and Rec, though, I'm like, yeah, that one I can, like, suspend disbelief for a little bit and, like, think, maybe, sure. Oh, okay. So Mark is saying from the comment of Derek's about Indiana having a new building.
Oh.
Indiana actually has a ton. Bloomington has a ton of new buildings. I guess the quarries needed new work or something.
Yeah, the buildings at IU are all made of Indiana limestone, and they are.
Or at least on the facade. Yeah.
They're really beautiful. They're
Ryan Donahue.
much more beautiful than you.
Did we know that Ryan Donahue was here?
We did, but like he hasn't said anything in like a while.
Speaking of Parks and Rec, Ron Swanson went to University of Illinois Champaign.
No, he spoke at U of I graduation a couple of years. Oh, I missed that part. Oh, no way.
Yeah. Actually, so the coolest thing to watch is there was a really cool video of not Ron Swanson, but the actual actor. I can't think of his name.
I'll look it up.
So the actor.
Somebody's gonna beat me to it.
Tell us who the actor is that plays Ron Swanson. Awesome character, by the way. But that actual
Nick Offerman.
Oh, Offerman, of course.
We knew that.
Yes. Nick Offerman has like a very like iconic voice. It's very soothing and like bassy baritones. It's really cool. But yeah, so Nick Offerman is actually known for like being like a real dude, right? Like he knows wood and he loves like all that kind of stuff.
Obsessed with the fact that Nick D misspelled Nick. Sorry, don't mean to call you out on that, but that just made me laugh a lot.
That's pretty funny. But no, like so Nick Offerman like is like known for like being able to like identify wood, like raw wood by like smell and touch and stuff like that. So like him and like Amy Palmer.
Like the tree?
Yeah, like if it's elm, oak,
wow.
mahogany, or whatever. So like he's given all these woods and he's like smelling them, he's like licking them and stuff like that. And he's like, he didn't get all of them, which made it seem a little bit more real. But he got like 9 out of 10 or something like that, which is pretty cool. I enjoyed that. I like watched that whole thing. And I'm like,
that's a fun
amazing.
Party trick.
Let me lick your furniture. I'll tell you what that is.
Like, do you guys have a fireplace?
Mahogany.
Yeah. Anyway, so we've caught up. If there's anywhere else that you guys...
Lori Sims, we're sorry about the last 20 minutes about Midwest schools. That is unfortunate. USC is pretty cool.
We never got to our prettiest places in Europe, so we can kind of round this out with that if you want.
Yeah. Why don't you start?
Well, actually, because you've been to Morocco, why don't you do your Morocco one that you've been to?
Chef Challenge, really cool.
Okay.
That's the prettiest one I've been to. Chef Challenge. It's the blue city in the north. It's considered one of like the prophet cities where like half the people there can like trace their ancestry back to like Muhammad. It's, which might be hyperbole. I don't know what the actual number is, but it's really beautiful. I would highly recommend it, and yeah, it's really cool.
I feel like I know how you're going to answer this, but why don't you answer for Spain? Because you've been so many more places in Spain than I have.
Granada.
I knew, yeah, the Alhambra.
Yeah, the Alhambra in Granada is the prettiest thing I've seen in Spain.
I've only been to Sevilla to visit him, so I gotta go.
Yeah, I mean, Sevilla, Cadiz, like Madrid, all that stuff is like great, but go to Granada, check out the Alhambra, spend the full amount of time in the Generalife, which is like the outdoor park area, like the gardens around the Alhambra, and it's phenomenal.
Alex Capico, we've only watched season 1 of Parks and Rec as well. Like, we're basically rounding that out. So
yeah, we're like part of the way through season 2.
We just kind of... you watched that without me then?
No.
No?
Because remember we were watching and I was like, oh my god, we're on season 2.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's only 6 episodes in season 1.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're not too far. If you want to catch up with us, then we can watch it together. Okay, so back to prettiest places. France. I've been to more places in France than you, but I would actually choose the Loire Valley as prettiest.
And the best thing that we did there, in my mind, was we did a hot air balloon ride over the Loire Valley, which took you out over like Chateau Chenonceau, and it took you down like parallel with like the bridge that goes over the river and everything. It was phenomenal.
And bye, Mark Walters. Have fun playing NHL 20 with Liam and Caleb.
Have a lot of fun.
And then, so I would definitely say...
And by Alex.
Oh, bye, Alex Capico. Thanks for joining, both of you guys. I would say that A close second in France for me was going to Giverny with
Giverny was awesome.
where Monet painted all of his water lilies and stuff like that. That was really, really
Giverny was
beautiful.
great.
And then
Within the UK.
Within the
Scotland.
UK is so within England or the UK.
The UK.
Because I mean, all of the Scottish Highlands are top
Stunning.
amazing. But I also really in like Wales, I love Snowdonia National Park, and in England, I really love Bath. There's something very special about Bath.
Bath is really great, and not Pulteney Bridge, but something like Pulteney Bridge is
Putney Bridge.
I think there's an L somewhere in that, but yeah, that bridge that goes over, it kind of looks like something out of Venice. Like it kind of looks like the Ponte Vecchio, because it has like buildings going along and everything. That is like a stunning spot within. Like it's not the Roman baths or anything, but like that's a really cool spot to take pictures. I mean, Stonehenge is cool, but I mean, I wouldn't put it as like a top spot.
No. And
Wales is
sorry,
cool.
Jocelyn, you'll get Mark to do a
Balloon
hot air
ride?
balloon ride next time for sure.
Yeah, it's
I
fun.
know you guys will be back. And Megan was saying in Morocco will take you way out of your bubble. Amazing to do some research on your riad. A lot of our open air. And the 5-star ones I stayed at required you to ring the doorbell to get it heard by all.
Shame. Yeah, no, Morocco's cool. I really enjoyed it. I was there for like a long weekend, basically, while I was in college. Yeah, that's it. Pulteney Bridge in Bath.
Yeah.
Mo
Oh,
got
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Pulteney. I knew there was an L somewhere.
But what Megan's saying about Morocco is really important because most of the people love to stay in like the riads, which are the traditional homes in Morocco.
They usually have like some sort of like garden.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like a big building that surrounds a courtyard, a bigger courtyard and stuff. But if you are staying in that, those are typically like old homes, and so with the doorbell, for example, if you ring it and you're trying to get back into your room, but there's a lot of other guests, that might be really annoying.
yeah. But no, I mean, I enjoy my time a lot. What else?
And then so Scotland, just the Highlands in general were amazing. Isle of Skye
was pretty
particularly
great.
stunning.
Highly recommend Isle of Skye.
Okay, so I think we've covered
We haven't done
Great
Italy.
Britain.
Piedmont and Como. We actually kind of did that, right? You said Como in Italy?
Yeah, in all of Italy, I think Lake Como has been my top.
Although Piedmont's pretty spectacular.
It is,
I love the
but I
wine
think
country.
Lake Como is still my top. I would totally go back to Piedmont too, though.
Yeah. And Florence.
What
and
would you
Rome.
say for Switzerland? I have not been to Switzerland. Derek's only
No,
been
I
for
can't. I
work.
can't opine. I've only been there for work.
I think it was Megan who said Lucerne, and I really want to go to Lucerne. I think that would be my top if I had been there.
Yeah.
And then in Brussels, I would definitely say Bruges, hands down. But like Ghent and Antwerp are supposed to be beautiful as well. And then in the Netherlands, I have only really been to Amsterdam, but Derek's been elsewhere. So what would you say?
I mean, the only other place I've been is Eindhoven, which I would not put it on par with like prettiest places.
Face the microphone.
I would say Amsterdam, but we've never been to Haarlem or a bunch of other places out there, so it's hard to say.
Yeah,
Haven't
but
explored
Amsterdam's stunning. Love the Canal District. Yeah.
So, there's a lot to see, a lot to do in Europe. I mean, everywhere's got its own kind of beauty, right? Like, you go to Glasgow and there's, like, phenomenal, like, murals and stuff like that. It's, like, a much more industrial town. Versus Edinburgh, which has, like, that more neoclassical experience and fairy tale Europe, basically. And so, it kind of depends on what you're looking for, and there's a lot to see, a lot to do, and a lot to experience. Like, if you go to, like, Berlin, that's, like, newer Germany, right? That's, like, today. Whereas if you go to Munich, that's a little bit more Bavarian past history and all that kind of stuff.
I'm
So
always so
there's
glad
a lot of stuff
for
to see and do.
Darian to be on to talk about Germany because Derek's only been for work, so he's been to like the not super great places in Germany.
Yeah.
And I've never been. We were supposed to go to Cologne in March, but had to change those plans due to COVID. So we are dying to go there, and I love the fact that now I'm going to have all of Darian's recommendations too.
So, Thomas Reiser is saying that Bath is great and has a great Christmas market.
It does.
I did not know that.
I knew that because I have a friend that lives in London, and she's gone out there for the Christmas market.
We have a great one here in Chicago.
We do. The Kris Kringle market here in Chicago.
They have raclette.
I don't actually know much more about that. So, I mean, it's kind of similar to the Union Square Market in New York City. Megan says, Derek, take Eliz to Budapest and Prague. So different from the places that you've already been in Europe. And 100%, we are really, really wanting to go to both of those places. We've actively researched doing kind of a road trip. Like, we would fly into either Prague or Budapest and do either road or trains to Vienna and then to the other one. Like, let's say Prague, Vienna, Budapest, and then, or Budapest, Vienna, Prague, and then fly out of the other one. Definitely top choices. And I think Derek's super into just history in Hungary in general too. So someday that's going to definitely happen. We were hoping it would happen in 2020. So yeah, I think other places that we really would love to go to that are supposed to be stunning in Europe, particularly is like the Norwegian fjords. I would love to go there. I don't know if any of you guys have been, but I've seen so many great photos, and I think it's just that like element of water that clearly I love to be, but like I'm talking about like Lake Como, Bariloche, like all these places that have water featured heavily in their scenery, is something that I'm really into. So I think the Norwegian fjords is very high on our list as well. Lori Sim says Vienna to Prague is only about 2.5 hours. I don't know if that's by car or train, but yeah, it's pretty close. We've definitely been hoping to do that. I also, in Austria, want to go to Salzburg and, of course, Hallstatt, like I've said before. I think those are really, really high up there for me. Derek's back. Yay! I don't know if, I hope you guys all enjoyed this chat about prettiest places in the world. There's certainly so many more for us to see. Particularly, like, I really want to get out to, like, South Africa and stuff. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of unmentioned ones.
Yeah, there's giant holes and things that we have not seen. I mean, Indian subcontinent, Pakistan, we haven't been to much of Africa. Like, the majority of Africa we've not been to. Lots of Asia we've not been to. I mean, there's a lot to see and do. Like, Vietnam sounds really cool. Korea would be awesome to get to. Thailand. I would love to go to Angkor Wat in Cambodia. Like, there's so much to see and do, so much to explore. Like, we're never going to be done, like, seeing it all. But it's our goal to, like, get there and, like, try to see as much as possible, so...
Thomas says do Norway in a nutshell when we go. I assume that's kind of like a tour.
Yeah.
Would love to do that.
Should check that out.
Yeah, we'll research that. I'm actually going to write that one down too. And then Lori said she took a plane from Prague to Budapest because the train was too long. So I don't know if it helps to stop in Vienna on the way or whatever, but yeah, I'm sure if we were just doing those two, we would probably fly.
Yeah.
So,
but Lori Sims is saying Vienna to Prague is only about 2.5 hours via train.
Yeah, Megan, I just want to go everywhere too. Everywhere's on my list.
Well, yeah, one of our favorite like travel podcasters and all that kind of stuff, the Extra Pack of Peanuts, I think they always say, I think it's them to say it, that it's I haven't been everywhere, but it's on my list.
Yeah.
Which I think is quoting somebody else. I don't know. It's probably some famous author or something like that. But yeah, no, we'd love to go everywhere, right? Like, everywhere is on our list.
Yeah.
It's just we have differing priorities.
Even Pakistan.
Oh, definitely Pakistan.
Which I don't know if Thor Avenger is still on, but wanted to shout that out.
Yeah. Pakistan. Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Bhutan would be cool.
Yeah.
Lots of places I'd love to go to.
Righto. So I feel like things are wrapping up,
Yep.
but it's been super fun to talk to all of you guys again, and
Thank
hope you
you.
all are having as good of a Thursday as we've had. Again, we're coming back on Sunday. I think we have 2 more Sundays left in the month, and then we're going to just be doing Thursdays in June. So we'll be getting rid of the Sunday ones just to free up a little bit of everybody's time on the weekends, knowing that weekends in the summertime are often for having fun.
Yep, that's our plan. We want to have a lot of fun over the weekend, so
Yeah.
And housework,
Even if it's quarantine fun for a lot of us. So
and not this week, but next week we'll have like a friend joining us in
yes.
our house.
Well,
so
I don't know
that'll
if she'll
be
be joining on the live streams.
She might not be on the live streams, but she'll be.
A friend of ours
here.
is moving in for the summer, and so her and her dog will be living in
Getting
our house
roommates.
too. So maybe we'll be introducing you guys to somebody new.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us.
Thank
We
you
really
all
appreciate
so
it.
much for joining.
And,
See you all on Sunday, hopefully, at 11 a.m. Central Time. And
For those who are part of the Walters World superheroes, we'll see you tomorrow.
Friday night,
Tomorrow.
live stream.
That's tomorrow.
All right, take care, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.